All right. Okay. So am I live? Oh, oh, new day, new day. We're looking at the battle of the leaders. Ian Nepomniachtchi against Gukesh D, of course. If you guys are here already, let me know if everything is okay. Am I live? Should be. I think here I see I am live. Okay, yeah, should be good. Should be good. Oh, awesome, 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 awesome. All right. So what's this weird opening that we are seeing today? E4, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, and just a moment. We have a6, bishop a4, and knight e7. Okay, Gukesh has chosen the little bit rarer knight e7, but we saw this in the candidates in some other game as well. Maybe in this section or the women's section, I can't remember. But this is not the first time we are seeing this line in the candidates. Knight e7, the idea is to go either g6 or knight g6. It depends on black. The one idea which I showed before was if you play knight e7, you actually have an additional option. If let's say white plays d4, one line which is common here is takes, 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 and c6. And when you go back, there is this option of queen b6, which has been popular for some time. Leads to interesting positions, but white is doing okay. So with that, let's look at what's happening here. Bishop b5, a6, bishop a4, knight e7, d4, takes, takes. So this line is with a6, not knight e7 inclusion, so plans are a little bit different. Now after castling, you cannot play the move which you wanted to do c6 because the bishop is not on b5 anymore. So you have to go for the different plan, knight c6. And queen e3. Okay, seems like an interesting move by Ian. Engine says equality, but I'm assuming Ian has analyzed with a stronger engine and knows there is some way to get advantage here. And he's making Gukesh think. What are your thoughts on what's going on? What are your thoughts? Okay, it looks interesting, right? Queen e3, what are we expecting black to play? Something like bishop e7 maybe? Short castle maybe? Right? Perhaps you can also start with b5. It's a question whether you want to include b5 or not. You get the option of playing bishop b7 as well. It's interesting because apparently, like to me, the most natural moves are b5 and bishop e7. But engine thinks there is an option of bishop d6 as well. It's interesting as well according to the engine. The idea is that you might think at first sight this bishop is being locked in, but this bishop was anyways going to go from this side of the board. So essentially you're trying to eye these pair of bishops in this way. It's a way. Let's say castles b5, bishop b3, and bishop b7. It's very interesting. Very interesting how this will lead. You see these kind of positions more in Sicilian, what do you call it, Taimanov. But even here, it's okay. Seems like if you play f4, which seems natural, there is queen e7. And there is bishop c5, aiming your king. You can move your king, but then there is knight a5 and you lose this bishop. So quite some interesting stuff here. Quite some interesting stuff. Yeah, if anyone's in the chat, do say hi and let me know if everything is all right on the stream. That's great. Okay, yeah. So let's see. 5. We have the similar problem with this bishop hanging. And so can't do f4. That means I have to do something like whenever you play knight a5 or want to meet conveniently with bishop d5, I have to avoid c6 somehow. So one thing it's probably possible is to play bishop d5 right away. This stops the possibility of knight a5. And if you play short castle, I could probably play F4 now seems okay, no? I could play F4 now. This seems logical. Queen E7 and probably King H1. Yeah, this is okay. Now if Knight A5, I can exchange and I can claim a little bit of an edge here after E5, although not sure how big it is. Maybe B3, maybe put this bishop like that on an open diagonal, it's possible as well. Black does have good coordination, so I don't see big trouble happening for black there. What else could you do after Queen E3? Bishop D6 is a cunning move, not going to lie. It's a interesting move for sure. For sure. But yeah, question what to do, right? What else could Nepo do if not short castle? We're looking at short castle b5, bishop b3, probably short castle or bishop b7. The line we looked at was bishop b7. Developing the bishop first, castle may have its own subtleties. I am yet to figure that out. But so the move we looked at so far were f4 and bishop d5. Those were the moves we looked at. Could play knight c3 perhaps. Start with this one. What happens here? Let's say you castle, most natural move. Did you have knight a5 there by any chance or no? E5, right? E5, bishop f8, and okay, that's bad, of course. So can't do that. Knight c3, you've got a castle. And then question, f4 is met with knight a5. And bishop d5 is met with rook e8. This doesn't seem great as well for white. So what's the idea with queen e3? What am I missing here after bishop d6? Maybe Nepomniachtchi doesn't expect Gukesh to find bishop d6. And if you don't play bishop d6, you have a slight edge. Let's say you play bishop e7, the most natural move in the position. There is castle, castle and knight c3. And you gain firm control over d5. And this bishop is not doing much. If you play b5 now, bishop b3, knight a5. Now, without bishop on d6, I think black's position is a bit more conservative. So knight d5, a move like this, can assure a slight edge for white. You can gain this bishop, but I'll probably take this bishop as well at some point. Do I want to take it now or no? That's a question. Let's say I do. And then I take on b3. I think this position is around equal, more or less. Does white have a slight edge? Concrete calculation would tell. Concrete calculation would tell. Yeah. Yeah. If anyone's here, could you let me know if the audio and video is fine as usual? Just want to make sure nothing's going too wrong. Okay, nothing, no one so far, right? Okay, interesting. I am public, yes, I'm public. That's fine. Okay, AB3. Now let's say rook e8, rook e1, bishop b7, f3, and d5. Takes queen d7. It's getting sharp. Somehow I like black because he's a more developed. Don't really think there are huge problems for black here. No. Let me refresh to see if Gukesh has played. Keeping an eye on the chat. Yeah. Queen e3. No move from Gukesh. He's thinking, probably taking the decision which plan to opt for here. My guess is if you don't know the move here, you probably play b5 or bishop e7, but bishop d6 would be an interesting find if he does it. This one other standard plan is to play g6. I don't think g6 should work here. Maybe there is queen c3 ideas. If you play g6, queen c3 is one idea, but there is also queen g3. Wow, queen g3 is interesting. Let me fix this bug by chess.com. And let's go back here. Already an error in Nakamura's game by black b5. Somehow Engine thinks this is an error, although it's not obvious to me why. Apparently a simple move like rook e1, knight e5 works very well. And if you play rook e8, there is bishop f6 or first, or there is rook e8 actually, yes, and then bishop f6. That damages your structure. Can't do that. So if you don't play that, you play a move like a5. Then I have knight e5, which is very strong. Bishop b7, and knight g4 actually is winning because of the pressure here. Bishop e7, I probably have rook takes e7, I'm guessing. Yes, it does work. Knight takes e7, knight takes f6, and we see the power of pair of bishops. This is going to be brutal, absolutely brutal. Oh, hi Ram, how's it going? How's it going? Just looking at the Hikaru's game seems like already a slight error by Abasov. He's played b5 and apparently hard to find a good move after rook e1. Like b5, rook e1, knight e5 is threatened very strongly. What do you do? What do you do? Knight e5 is threatened very strongly. I'm just going to change the screen for a second to take care of the brightness. So let's say I make a move here, and okay, the screen is fine, I think. Refresh. Change the game. I make a move like this. Okay, yeah, that's back to normal. So let's go here. Rook e1 played by Hikaru almost instantly. No, actually, after 5 minutes of thought, my bad. Knight e5 is threatened. Whew, how does Abasov deal with that? How does Abasov deal with that? What do you think? Knight e5 is coming. You could start with bishop b7, and then we have knight e5. And if you play bishop e7 to maintain the pin, knight d2, you can't take actually. This is inconvenient. Knight d7, I can take and play knight f3, right? Knight f3, I've got a solid outpost on d4 against this bad bishop. Seems really bad. Seems really bad. Like knight f3 is so convenient. Hikaru would be so pleased to have this position. So that looks strong. Maybe Abasov starts to realize what he's done here. Great. No, I'm doing great as well, Ram. Just curious on your thoughts on this game. Rook e1, knight e5 is threatened. What do you think? Already trouble for Abasov, or maybe not? Maybe not. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. But I could refresh if something has happened. I don't see a move yet. Let's have a look at others. We got Caruana, I think. So at Caruana. Oh, Caruana Firouzja is going messy. Rook g1, h5. Okay, Caruana has done some preparation. Caruana has done some preparation. a6, rook g1, h5 directly. Usually you see e5 first, and then after knight b3 you see h5. This is more common to stop g4. This is what I've seen before. But playing h5 directly is a bit nuanced. What's the thing is, if your opponent plays h5 early, and if you have a g6 setup, then you want an h3 f4 structure. So like here, I don't know what Fabiano did. He played bishop c4. Okay. What I've seen before, like in a similar situation, is a structure like this. And f4 eventually. I've seen this, but then rook on g1 is not usually there. The rook stands on h1. Here you have probably g4 as well. This is what I've seen before. No, that's fine. That's fine. All opinions are valued, of course. This looks like a completely balanced position to me. Which one are you talking about? This one or the other game? All opinions matter though. Don't be afraid to tell me your thoughts. I don't care if you're 1000, unrated 1100 Grandmaster. This stream is for. Okay, I mean, a6, rook g1 idea to go g4. That's, of course, the idea. Be aggressive. h5, bishop c4. Interesting move. I think bishop c4 is Caruana's attempt to take Alireza out of preparation. My guess is that even Caruana knows this is probably not the best move, but if it takes Alireza out of preparation, it does. In fact, Alireza was out of preparation after rook g1. He played h5 after a lot of thought. He took 12 minutes to play h5. So bishop c4 by Caruana in 23 seconds. He's still in preparation. g6 by Alireza after another 5 minutes, and then bishop g5. Okay, Caruana is prepared. Is prepared. This one, this one looks sharp. Nakamura Abasov. Yes, let's have a look there as well. But this one, I'll just explain the ideas very quickly. You want to play long castle, f3, g4 ideas if white short castles, or even another idea is f4, e5. Because this bishop is very strong here. So, like, these are the simple ideas. Play knight, I actually have takes, I think. And then I play long castle, threatening e5. You can't take, the queen will hang. So if you were to castle, let's say this could be... If I play e5, you probably have knight e8 or knight h7, or does it not work? E5, knight h7, ed6, let's say. If you take, I probably can take back because I have this queen takes g6 maybe. d5 and queen takes c6. The pawn hangs. This will look tricky for black, but Caruana would need to calculate. Caruana would need to calculate. This is an interesting idea. But let's go back to the Hikaru Abasov. Rookie one. Abasov is yet to play his move. Think he's starting to realize what he's done there. Refresh. No move from Abasov yet. e5 could be a big problem. I know it looks equal at first sight, but imagine white is trying to play knight e5, knight d2, knight f3, and it maintains a good bind here with this bishop. At first sight, optically, it looks completely balanced. In that sense, you are not wrong. But with experience, with more experience, you'll realize that white definitely has a slight advantage. At least. All because we get this one knight e5 move, some attack. An attack can lead to big advantages. Hopefully that makes some sense. That's that. Which other game would you like me to check out? We could have a look at Fabiano Alireza. We had a look at this one. Okay, Bishop e7 by Gukesh. Conservative way. I was telling about this one that if you don't know the position, Bishop e7 seems natural. If you know the position, you probably play Bishop d6, which is more aggressive. But without knowing, without analyzing this position beforehand, Bishop d6 is hard to find. Bishop e7, and apparently we had an interesting idea to play Bishop d2. What Bishop d2 does is that after b5, Bishop b3, knight a5, it stops all the knight a5 ideas essentially. So it was a possible move. You could also probably put this bishop along this diagonal. So that would be a great example for piece placement. Knight c3, castles. And we could castle as well. And the problem is that white always gets this knight d5. If you play b5, bishop b3, knight a5, I think that's probably the objectively best way. But I showed this variation where I thought like after a b3, without or with inclusion of knight takes e7, seemed to be promising white a slight edge. It's deep, it's a little bit deep, but you can take and play f3. It sort of transposes, and engine claims white has a slight edge. Well, Personally, I don't agree white has a slight edge right here. I think you have a slight edge if you get in c4 to stop d5. But what happens after d5? Why is this a slight edge? Takes, 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 bishop takes, and the weakness of a6. That would make sense. You have no idea. No, okay. I just showed what white's plans are. Black's plans are more difficult to find. So if we go back to Hikaru Abasov, white's plan is to play knight e5. Put this knight on d2, then bring it to f3. Here. Play knight g4 to put pressure on this knight. So white's plans are actually pretty simple. The question is, after a5, if I play knight e5, guesses Abasov wants to play rook a6. And if I play knight d2, how do you continue? Let's see, like, if I play knight d2, let's try to play it out. Let's try to play it out. What would you play here after knight d2? After knight d2. What are the thoughts? So, I mean, you could try a move and let's see how. Okay, you might consider b. Let's see. Bishop a4 maybe? Bishop a4 was my first thought. Engine does like it, but Engine says there is an even better move, queen f3. Puts pressure on this knight, puts pressure on this pawn. Is there a better move even there? No, queen f3 seems good enough. Okay. Even bishop a4 is strong, attacking the knight. The maximum you will get by breaking the structure is b takes c3. There is nothing more you get after that. So that's the absolute maximum you will get if you play bc3. But let's say I play queen f3. I put pressure on your knight and on the d5 pawn. What happens now? What happens now? I might be threatening bishop takes f6. It damages your structure. Or I might be threatening knight g4, one of them. Or I might be threatening knight f1 and then knight e3. So a few ideas for me. But also actually I see now, I'm also threatening knight takes c4. If you take, I take here. And I hit your queen. So quite a few threats. Pressure here, threatening this. Full diagonal for this bishop. What do you play here? Sorry. What do you play here? Knight e7 I take on f6, no? Knight e7 I take on f6. I gain a pawn. I mean, you probably are trying for some attack, but I don't think it exists. Most likely it doesn't work. Unless you have some idea of bishop takes, g takes, queen takes, bishop b4 perhaps. I don't believe in it for some reason. I don't feel like you have enough defenders. Bishop b4, queen f3. Yeah, so yeah, nothing there. Knight e7, I just take on f6. Maybe try a different move. Try a different move, yeah. This one doesn't seem to be working out. Hard. No, it's not easy to find a move, is it? I'll just put some things on the board. Let's say you play knight e7. I take, and now I could take directly, or I could play knight g4. Knight g4 hits both of these, so probably is stronger. And then if you take the knight, then I just take. You play knight g6, I take. So I have to play king h8. And then rook takes e7, I eliminate the knight. If you take back with one of these two, doesn't matter really which one. Queen f5 actually comes with checkmate threat, which is very hard to stop. How do you stop that checkmate? I mean, this is how quickly it can get worse. So maybe after the stream you will have the evaluation of this position changed in your head. And that's why we analyze games, because with more experience you can make more informed decisions and you can evaluate position which much. And someone asked me yesterday, how do you manage time? Well, if you have more knowledge, you feel more confident about a position and then you naturally take less time. So that's my thought. That's my thought. But yeah, I mean, feel free to ask any other questions you guys may have. Yeah. Queen f5, threatening queen h7. That would be awesome, no? Let's have a look at the other games. Unless there has been a move here. a5, not yet a move by Nakamura. I mean, knight e5 is so natural, I highly doubt he won't play it. So Fabiano seems to be getting an edge against Firuza. Firuza has played queen a5, and Fabiano could simply long castle. Only thing Fabiano has to check is what happens after long castle b5. Is that dangerous? Principally should not be, but it still needs to be checked. Long castle, let's say b5. Ooh. Fabiano has got a really tricky move here. Any guesses? Fabiano has got a really tricky move. b5 is a mistake. Because black's pieces are not developed, white has something special here. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Really special trick. Let's see. Let's finds it. Would be really impressed if anyone does. Big. Knight takes b5 doesn't work because I take back. You probably take back with the bishop, and I just defend with bishop d7. Ram, could you confirm that the audio and video quality is okay? Because sometimes I just am on wrong settings and then I don't know. But if you can let me know, that would be awesome. I don't have a second monitor as well. So if you can confirm, that would be awesome. Oh, both are perfect. Thank you very much. For the best video quality, you probably want to go to 1440p. That would be like if you really care about the video quality of my face. But if not, then 1080 would also do. Anyways, that's irrelevant anymore. So now b5, the move is not takes. It's actually the spectacular e5. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's actually e5. Try to think if it makes sense to you why this is being played. I'll give you a hint. Where is black's king? In the center, right? And where are my queen and the rook? My queen is on d2, the rook is on d1. If I can get some tactics along the d file, don't you think that would be awesome? Phenomenal move. Phenomenal move. This is where Firuza. I mean, I can see Firuza going wrong with this one. I can see Queen a5, long castle b5 happening. Queen a5 has already happened. So b5, it could go wrong. Things could go wrong. e5 would be stunning. Like, this would be the game of the day if this happens. If pawn takes e5, try to guess what, but it's not that hard. I say it's not that hard, but there is only one move which wins for white. But it's natural. It's not too difficult. Natural move, but is the only move. The knight has to move. It's clear the knight has to move. Else, like, what was the point of e5? Where does the knight go? Only one natural square. There is no checkmate on d8. Have queen d8 in any variation, but you can try to achieve queen d8 somehow. Where does the knight go? It's not knight takes b5, I tell you that. Knight c6 actually would not be great. I'll tell you why, for two reasons. Firstly, you black just takes on c6, and by taking on c6, black covers the crucial d8 square. So I cover the crucial d8 square, and that would not do any good to you. And you're also helping black develop. If black gets to develop, he gets to add more attackers, more defenders. Black gets to add more defenders, which is not something we want. Let me help you out in another way. Let me tell you that when you're attacking, you want to attack with tempo. If you attack with tempo, your opponent cannot develop pieces. How do you attack with tempo? Extremely eccentric, welcome to the chat. After seeing you, I am extremely eccentric. But welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. We were discussing Fabiano's game, which is getting really sharp. What has happened is that bishop has been played by Fabiano in this special rook g1 line, which he played. Bishop g7, queen d2, queen a5, and we were discussing that Fabiano can long castle. Then we were discussing that if Fabiano plays b5, white has the spectacular e5. This is what we were discussing. So Ram, who you can see in the chat, was asking what happens after d takes e5, and the move actually is knight b3. Knight b3, the queen is attacked, and if this queen moves to a wrong square, then there is mate. So you can't do this. You have to play queen c7. Can I try to destroy this queen? I can. I can actually sack on b5. Crazy line. If you take, I take. You still have to be defending the d8 square. So you have to play queen b6. I distract your queen again. I play bishop e3. As soon as you move, I have d8 mate. Queen d8 would be checkmate. So the only move which saves you is bishop h6. Well, sort of saves you. But then I gain my piece back. And I'm threatening knight c7, I'm threatening rook d8, all sorts of things, and white is winning there. Isn't this a beautiful line? Come on. Is this not beautiful? What more do we want from chess? This is as crazy as we get. Come on, guys. Come on. This is as crazy as we get. Imagine. e5, I really want this to happen on the board. I'll check to see if anything has already happened. No, Fabiano hasn't played long castle yet. Fabiano's really capable of seeing this idea. But he's taking his time. He's taking his time. Ooh, what do you think? What do you think he's thinking about? Or if there is any other game you want me to look at in the meanwhile, let me know and I shall do it. Great position for Fabiano though. His preparation has paid off. He's as well, like 14 minutes up, so he can afford to take some minutes. Prug game, yeah, we can. Why not? Prug game. And here we are. Ah, another Roy Lopez. Knight f3, knight c6. This line has been becoming common, bishop takes c6. Like we saw so many games even yesterday and like in one of the previous rounds. Some people play with a6 inclusion, so sometimes you see this idea, which was in Nakamura's game yesterday, I think. No, not yesterday, but was it yesterday? No, in one of Nakamura's games we saw bishop c5 directly. And here a6 inclusion was there. But now here we did not have bishop a6 inclusion. The subtleties of a6 inclusion versus oops. The subtleties of the a6 inclusion are really thorough, so I won't go into them because it's very complicated. But with bishop c5, bishop c6, dc6, queen e2 is new. Queen e2 is new. The move I am familiar with is knight d2, knight c4, attacking e5, or castling first. Like this line used to be popular, that what happens after bishop g4. People were debating this for some time. They were debating that can we play bishop h5 or not. It turned out that g4 is very strong. And they were debating about this sacrifice. Does it work or not? I remember this. We debated this for a long time. I am not streaming on Twitch. No, I only stream on YouTube. Only on YouTube. Why? Is there anything special? Only on YouTube. So, as I was saying, we were discussing this line and we were debating what happens here. Does black have good attack after queen f6 or no? Not to have bishop e3. Well, now engine says it's okay. I thought the evaluation of this position was that white is fine. People stopped playing this. And now bishop d6, we saw moves like king h1, playing rook g1. So this position got complicated, but eventually people decided that white was doing fine here. This is what I remember. But people were discussing this line, I remember. So we have queen e2, new move, sort of new move. The idea probably, well, the straightforward idea is to take on e5 and you can't play queen d4, threatening checkmate. So I take, you play queen d4, now f2 is protected, I go back. Knight d7 by Prag, best move, defending e5. Bishop e3, queen e7, knight c3, standard moves, and knight d2. Knight d2 is interesting by Pragyananda. He's in good preparation. He's going knight c4, putting this knight there. I've always thought that this knight should go to c4, but I'm not against this idea, and you know why? Because I always get in f4 at some point. At some point. So I like this idea as well. Knight c5, knight c4, excellent, knight e6. And now Pragyananda should just short castle, my opinion. Long castle seems a little bit more dangerous because black can roll his pawns. So short castle would be my choice. No. Extremely eccentric. What's your rating? I'm curious. Like, how strong are you? I mean, like, we've got all levels in the chat here. So even if you're low rated, it doesn't make. If you're high rated, doesn't make a difference. Just curious. Just just want to know like what rating level of players watch my stream. But yeah, I mean this position could go either way, but for now it looks about equal with slight edge to white, I would say. Slight edge. Let's have a look here. Nakamura Basov, we got knight e5 as predicted. Then rook a6 best move, knight d2 best move, bishop c7 best move. Yup, and now Nakamura has a few options to continue. Both are very interesting. One plan is to play queen f3, which I pointed out before, and put pressure here and here. The other idea is to improve this knight, not via f3, but via f1, and this knight can go to e3 to attack d5. So this is an example of good piece placement. That would be a great example. You could also play f4, which looks very natural. Engine does not mind f4 as well. But my favorite move would be queen f3. I like queen f3 a lot. It's a question. Can you explain the point of rook a6? Yeah, of course. The question here, black did not understand whether to put the bishop, well, black correctly understood whether to put the bishop on b7 or not. If I put the bishop on b7, it takes bishop away from this diagonal, which is very good. And on b7, the bishop is just blocked by this pawn. You remember I also talked about their pressure being on f6. So, when you get a rook on a6, you are more equipped to deal with pressure along this 6th rank. Even if I take, You take, and guess what? Like queen f3, bishop c7, I don't have anything at all. Like rook defends this knight pretty well, and my queen can move freely. Maybe d7, maybe d6. So the rook helps guard everything. Well, as it would seem right now. But Nakamura played knight d2, which is best. Bishop c7. So the rook is just trying to defend f6 indirectly, over defend, so that the queen can move. And then we are like playing queen f3, and black can respond in a few ways. One idea is to play knight e7, which you asked before, and the difference is that the rook defends the knight. So now doubling is not possible, doubling of pawns. Mainly that, the c6 knight and the f6 knight, mainly that. But the rook gets activated as well, so it's piece development, isn't it? You're bringing rook into play, no? So you're developing your pieces, but mainly that. If you think the plan is associated inside, not really. It's only associated with defense of the king side. Mainly associated with that. Okay, if you guys are here, I want to change a little bit of audio settings to see if it becomes better or not. Stay with me and let me know if it becomes better or not. So I'll be changing it in a second. I'll let you know. So let's say I haven't changed it yet. Wait. 7. Let's say I reduce this. Is it better or is it worse? So I've changed it a bit. So is it better or worse? Or negligible difference? So now if this was my voice, is the same. Okay, no big difference there. So I'll get it back to where it was. Okay, so this is that. And now let's say I reduce this. Let's say. Okay, what about now? Is there some difference or is it about the same? Now this is new one. This is the second change which I've done. Same or different? Sounds a little bit more hollow. So should I get it back to where it was before? Should I get it back to where it was before? Whichever is more clearer to you. Like I care about you, not me. So I want to provide the best experience. If you want, I can get it back to where it was, or I can just keep it as it is. First one is a little sharper, so this is a little bit better, won't you say? Oh, you want a little bit sharper. Okay, sure, why not? Why not? Let's get it back to where it was. So this is back to normal. You should have the same experience now. I have not changed anything. Everything is restored back to normal. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so yeah, we are back to normal. Nothing changed. And yeah. Okay, now is what will Hikaru play? Oof. This is becoming complicated. I mean, Hikaru's probably thinking about Queen f3. I can see his expression on my screen. He's thinking about it. But let's check out other ones. Come on. Okay, we didn't see b5. Firuza played correctly with knight c6. But now Firuza has a simplification tactic, guys. I mean, Firouzja can resolve most of his problems now. The move looks insane, but it's really just a simplification tactic. What does Firouzja do here? Really just a simplification tactic, but works very well. Nice move if you see it at first, but can you spot it? Can you spot it? Yeah, I mean, think about where the queen can go. All the squares. When I say all the squares, I mean all the squares. Knight b3, the queen is attacked. But there is one which actually is probably the best for Firoza. Still gives white a slight edge, but this is what Firoza has to do now. Nothing better. I'll show why nothing else is better, but let's see if you find this move first. Let's see. Was knight b3 the best move by white? Knight c6 is probably better. f4 is possible as well. Yeah, I mean, knight b3 seems practical enough. Yes, Ram, you found it correctly. Queen takes g5. Indeed. Without queens, much harder for white to put any real pressure. With queens, we saw all those tactics which could have taken place. But without queens, not too sure, not too sure. Bishop h6. Oh, I can actually take or I can play h4. Maybe h4. I like h4 a little bit more. I think h4 is more practical. I can at least install a strong pawn on g5. So maybe it's fine for white. Maybe it's fine. Engine claims a slight edge, but practically I think, after h4 things could be there. Engine thinks queen h6, but I think practically queen h6 is not the best move. I would think h4 is better. And then takes, engine says f4. Somehow I am a little bit disinclined to believe in this one. I think black should hold. After b5, bishop d5, bishop d7. Still a slight edge. I mean, black still has to answer some questions. But my feeling is that black can hold. Don't know. I mean, still pleasant to play for white. Still pleasant to play. Interesting. Okay, now let's ask ourselves why not move the queen elsewhere? Why not queen d8 or queen c7? Queen c7 is actually bad instantly because I can take and play knight d5 and then I damage your pawn structure and then I take on d6. So that's instantly bad. And if you play queen d8, then I have f4 trying to play e5, which was one of the ideas we saw. Let's say you castle. I could make a move like bishop e2, trying to play g4 in the future. Let's say you play, I don't know, bishop d7, for example. Natural move, there is e5. So Firouzja has to be really careful. If you take, I can take the knight and then take the bishop. So that could happen. But probably if you don't want to play queen takes g5, queen d8 is probably the next best option. Still asks white some questions, but I mean, most natural is f4, trying to go e5. Then castle bishop e2 is natural as well. You want to get out of this b5 idea. And then you want trying for e5 things or g4 things. Still pleasant to play for Firouzja. More pleasant. Oh, sorry, not Firouzja. More pleasant for Fabiano. And yeah, so I mean, these are easy plans for white. How does that sound? How does that sound? Not bad, no? And well, let's look at this one. No moves played. Pragyananda, f6, nothing so far. Nepo's game has gotten interesting. We saw this idea b5, which I was talking about. And this is why, yeah, we were talking about this, weren't we? Actually, we were talking about this with bishop b7. Gukesh has played this without bishop b7, which still makes sense. So we had castle, bishop, knight here, b here, here, and queen g3. So Nepo's threatening two things. One is bishop h6, other one is knight takes c7 or queen takes c7. Engine claims none of them are a threat. Neither of them. I could play bishop b7, and let's say if you were to play bishop h6, there is simply bishop f6, and I defend g7. So another thing you might ask is, can you not take on c7? Is that not a thing? It actually is a blunder. I could take on d5. No, I can't. Wait, sorry about that. You take on b3 first. Wait, bishop d5, queen d8. Yeah, of course, it's not a blunder. Sorry about that. Queen c7, knight c7, rook c8, knight d5, and bishop d5. And I take here, you take here, and you basically have no development. You have an extra pawn, but it doesn't mean anything. I could play rook c2. Really difficult for you to get your play. Here, like bishop c5, f5. Without pieces, the pawn is worth nothing. If a player has 0.7 advantage, for example, into the middle game, if they have perfect play, will they always win? Uh, Oof. Never thought about that before. I think 0.7. No, no, no. Actually, I've seen positions, engine positions, like engines against engine, going from +1 to a draw. So +1 to a draw with perfect play. So 0.7 can be taken out. Yeah. 0.7 will go to a draw with perfect play, not a win. I remember seeing some engine games where, yeah, we had more than zero point 0.7 and still a draw. So with perfect play, this can be a draw, but perfect play we rarely see in humans. Like this is practically so difficult to defend that I would assume white will lose. Well, if it's Carlsen, maybe a draw, but Carlsen is Carlsen. Nice, no? Quickly check something. Yeah, I'll get back to this one. Okay. Any other questions by anyone? Let me know. We'll be very happy to answer. If not, we can move on to a different game. But do let me know. Uh-huh. Good look at which game, which game. This one's nothing special. This one's nothing special anymore. This one, no moves. And let me refresh this one. Still, Firuza's thinking. We don't know yet. Still thinking. Do you think he'll take on g5 or do you think he'll play queen d8? If he's taking so much time, which move are you expecting more? Good question, isn't it? He takes on g5, so we see simplifications happening here. Now, I do think Caruana has calculated this, like in Firuza's time. So I expect him to blitz next move quickly. So like bishop h6, and I expect a move very soon by him. He's definitely seen this. Would be surprised if he hasn't. Bishop h6 and h4 is what my prediction is, but he might take on h6 as well and play f4. Really up to him. Really up to him. Really up to him. But at least it's interesting. Like queen takes g5 is pleasant to the eyes. What's the no? Okay. So Nakamura still thinking. Has he played f4? No, Nakamura hasn't played anything. Games are slow here. Shall we look at the women's candidates or no? Your wish. Shall we see if there is something sharp going on there? Positions are not looking too sharp in the men's candidates today, or open candidate. So, shall we move on? Well, let's see. Let's go back. Oh, wait, there was a move played somewhere. Wait a minute. I saw a move being played. Saw a move being played. Where is it? Where is it? Let me refresh. Somewhere there was a move, not here. Okay, so now Gukesh has played bishop d6 instead of bishop b7, which is not bad. Not bad. I mean, bishop f4 is the only option. You, if you move the queen, then rook comes in, and it's not good. So this is the only option. We take, and now most likely we will see d6, and barely any problems for black. No, nothing. d6 and Gukesh has equalized. Once this bishop falls in an open position, you have this bishop against this knight. Yes, my pawns are a little bit backward, but with rook e8 pressure here, this is nothing special. I highly doubt this is anything special for white. My evaluation would be equal. Wow, Akash. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciated. Really appreciated. I'm a new streamer, new into content, so I'm still trying to improve. But these kind of messages really motivate me. So tag along for a bit and hopefully, we'll enjoy the games together. Why not? Why not? Awesome to have you here. Awesome. Awesome. That's- Keshav, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Really cheers me up. Really cheers me up. Really motivates me to be streaming. It's fun, no? Like discussing games with others on YouTube. I think it's fun. Rookie 8 is coming. What I try to do is I try to keep it as instructive as I can, try to share all my knowledge with you guys. Like I don't hide anything at all. So I try to share all the knowledge so that you guys can improve. Like I know there are some streamers which try to provide more entertainment. I am more on the education side, but that's just my style. So try to make good videos on playing. So like you mean me playing? Me playing, let's say like Blitz online? Or you mean like game analysis videos? Which one are you talking about? I'll just go to a different game until then. But which type of videos? Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. So let me move on to the women's candidates. There we Oof, look at this one. Look at this one. What has happened here? What has happened here? Okay, so game analysis or how to improve your own game. So you're stuck around 1800 from 1 year, like for 1 year. What's you mean 1800 FIDE or 1800 chess.com? Oh, like for you guys, like 1100 to 1400 and 1400 to 1800, opening is a lesser priority than middle game. Like this is not me being not me saying something inaccurate. It's factual. People at your level do know openings. I do not deny that. Sometimes people are really well prepared, but your opponents are making so many mistakes in calculation and positional understanding that even with like some dubious moves in the opening, you can easily get away. Easily. You have the understanding, you'll get away. Like, I know I've played some lines when I was 1400, that, let's say, sometimes I didn't know the theory and I would end up in dubious positions, but in the middle game I would win because I could calculate better and I had a better positional understanding by, like, relative to my opponents. And there is no best opening. It's about which one appeals to you most, like which one you feel most comfortable with and which one you have analyzed the most. You start to feel more comfortable with one you have analyzed the most. So, and your style changes with time to time. So let's say if you're playing a boring opening for a while, let's say Petrov, you play Petrov for a while, you'll get bored and then you would want to play something sharp like Sicilian Dragon, and others. Dragon is there, Naidov is there, Sveshnikov, Taimanov. What is the best opening for white and black? There is no best opening, Teshal. There is no best opening. I mean, if there was a best opening, imagine if there was a best opening, would everyone not be playing the same thing? Would we, let's say if Sicilian was the best opening, would we not see Sicilian in every game? Why do we see e5? Why do we see Sicilian time to time, but mostly e5? So then you can argue, can is e5 the best opening? It's not the best opening, but if you are playing solidly, if you want to play solidly, it is the best opening. If you want to play for a win, Sicilian is the best opening. You can make an argument, not saying anything else. And then you can argue, why did Pragyananda play French? For me, I like to know openings in detail. If I want to improve 10-minute videos, don't help in learning opening after 1600 or 1800. Everyone know that basic thing. For I see. Okay, so you want detailed content like on a particular opening line. That's what you're looking for, right? Like detailed middle game content or detailed opening content. So, for example, you would probably, yeah, I'll explain all those things. Like Keshav, I'll explain your point as well. But Akash is saying he wants detailed opening videos. Okay. So what kind of length are you aiming for? The problem is, if there is bad retention on a video because of a high, because of the duration is too long, then it doesn't get pushed around. So what kind of duration are you talking about? I am more than happy to make longer videos, but I just want to know what is the ideal duration you're looking at. Because you might think you want to watch a detailed video and then you give up after 3 minutes, like many people do. So in that case, it's a waste of your time and mine, right? So if there is an ideal duration length which I can produce, oh, I can do a live stream also like a class. Yes, that's a great idea. I can do that, of course. I can, of course, do that. So maybe like I'll do a stream where we will all look at an opening line or a few openings in depth. How does that sound? And I'll actually save the analysis, put it as a PGN on YouTube. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? Yeah, maybe I can do some good analysis in 15 to 20 minutes, like a detailed analysis, really detailed analysis of a as a opening. Definitely can make that work. And I'll provide PGN files as well. So that would be, I think that would really help you guys a lot. Yes, I was actually planning to do a Blitz live stream. Let me show you guys something. Like I already have the thumbnail ready. I already have the thumbnail ready. Let me show you something. Just a moment. I'm just finding. Like I already have what you are talking about. No, wait. You guys can't see it, can you? It's not display capture. Never mind. But I have the thumbnail ready. I promise you. I promise you. Oops, something disappeared. Yeah, we're back. How was Hikaru's last game? We let me wait. I had to answer a question before that. Yeah, Keshav was talking about that. It depends opponent to opponent, and also you feel most confident about. So, one thing I would want to say is that I would not recommend you playing a different opening in every game. So let's say you play for now. So let's say you have King's Indian against White. So if you play King's Indian against D4, I would want you to play it for almost every game. Almost every game. Like flexible repertoires can be hard to play because if you are playing a flexible repertoire, let's say you're playing both Benoni and King's Indian, chances are you don't know theory well in either of them unless you are a very high rated player. So for your level, I would play one thing. Like when I was playing French, I was only playing French. When I was playing Sicilian, I was only playing Sicilian. So I would keep the opening fixed for some time. And then if you really think you have mastered an opening, you can probably add another one. But play only one for some time, then try to add. Like, I want to know how this opening is good, but in what manner opponent can crush it, what to avoid, what should be the motto in middle game. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, Akash. Like, this is the kind of things I would be looking for. I would be looking for. Like, I was looking for when I was your rating. So, do you read books, Akash? Like chess books, or you are more into videos? Teshal Hikaru's last game was a disaster because Vidit played really precise chess. Maybe minor mistakes, but overall great play by Vidit. Like Hikaru could not even get any defensive tactics and like not even close. He made like some tries, it wasn't working. You are into videos, okay? And yeah, we can go to Gukesh's game. This one looked sharp as well. Not at all. In Okay, okay, sure. Okay. Do you like if not books? Are you? Can you read chess-based files? Let's say if there is a chess-based PGN file with annotations in it, is that something you are keen to look at? Even though you are a teacher, you're not into books. So well, that's funny. That's a little bit funny, but okay. I know some people really don't like books. I love books, but some people don't. Some people don't. So I would avoid talking to you about it. Let's go to the Gukesh game. Where are we? Gukesh's game, here we are. Yeah, PGN will work, right? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay. So, what we have here is this situation where Nepomniachtchi will lose his light square bishop, and light square bishop is the most important piece in the Royal Opes. You lose this, you have a bishop against knight in an open position, and bishop, of course, is slightly better. So you might, does white have a slight edge? Weakness of the a6 pawn, weakness of the c7 pawn. Really about that. And there is also a 4 versus 3 on the king side. That means f4, f5 in some moment in time may be dangerous. That's all. That's all. This is why black does not have a slight advantage because white controls more center. Really about this. But I assure you with experience, this is nothing special for black. Nothing special for white. I think Hikaru has a decent advantage on the game against Nijabov. We were discussing that one, and I thought Hikaru was like almost about to be clearly better. We can have a look. I was talking about this, Hikaru Abasov. I don't know what B3 is, it's probably payable. He wants to break the structure. Oh, he's actually even threatening A4. If you get rid of the B pawn, you get rid of this pawn. And then you will win this pawn. That's okay. The other move Hikaru had, I thought was very interesting, was rook e2 and double up the rooks. I thought that was a possibility. One more move which I thought was possible was knight f1, knight e3 or knight g3 at some point. Knight g3 would trap the bishop actually. But I thought this knight could go to e3 at some point. Hikaru doesn't think so yet, so he plays b3, which is very natural as well and pretty good. You're threatening a4. So, and yeah, now Abasov has to make a decision what to do with it. Do you have some links from where I will know when and where FIDE tournaments are happening in Maharashtra? You would have to check. Is there a site of Maharashtra's Chess Association? Because I live in London. I don't even look at Indian tournaments. So there must be a site of Maharashtra Chess Association, if there is one, and they will post the tournaments. Or you could go to AICF, like check All India Chess Federation. AICF will put tournaments on their site. At least it used to few years ago. So that's my best advice, but I don't know much. Hikaru does have a decent advantage, Teshal. Yeah, he does. So any other questions, guys? Like any, I mean, if you want like some understanding on an opening right now, I can try to provide it. I can tell you some plans because these games are boring in men's section. Like they're slow, no? Except Hikaru's one. Hikaru's is interesting. Gukesh one's is slow. This one I predicted H4 actually. You can rewind the stream. I predicted H4. And the other one was this one also very slow. How far is FM from IM? FM is 2300 FIDE, IM is 2400 FIDE. Yeah, you can tell some unique stuff. Unique stuff game? What do you mean, unique stuff? Off game? Which one? This one, some other one? Or some other opening? Is the French good? At a lower level, not at the highest level. At the highest level, people have done all the engine analysis. You're not getting anything out of the French. That was one of the reason I stopped playing French. It doesn't like, and I can show you one line which actually hasn't even been played that much, but which is still very good. So like, I was analyzing this recently, and this is such a good line against French. You can check with the engine as well. So e4 e6 d4 d5 knight d2, right? You guys have probably seen knight d2 right before. If you haven't, let me introduce you to this move. But can I get like a yes or no if you have seen this move before or not? I don't know what your level is, so I'm just making guesses. Have you seen knight d2 here? Just waiting. Lies. Never played French. Queen's Gambit. Okay, let me explain Queen's Gambit first then. You probably are all familiar with Queen's Gambit. Do you want Queen's Gambit declined or accepted? Until then, I'll show you this one. Until he replies. So, knight d2, the most common move here has been knight f6, which seems pretty natural. There are only two main moves here, knight f6 and c5. I would actually claim, I would go as far as to claim that knight f6 has been refuted. I would as far as go to claim that. I would say e5, knight d7. This is not popular at all right now. Like there are not many games, like as many games as there should be. Mostly people were playing c3 here, which is natural, or they were playing bishop d3. I'll tell you why not bishop d3. I'll explain that in a second. But most people were playing this, and knight e2. This is what I was playing for some time as well, and they were putting this knight on f3. This is the absolute main line in this variation. Recently, I found out that I can actually play c3 first, and if they play c5, I actually have this move f4. This is what I was looking at. And this is actually super strong. You can analyze this in depth. And with knight f3 coming in, bishop d3, knight e2, the same setup. With f4, it is much stronger because you get f5 in. Like, grandmasters are yet to explore this. They are yet to explore this. Oh, welcome Candy Shop owner. I did not know about this Ali Reza's dad thing, but I know Ali Reza was by the arbiter for wearing, like, his shoes were making some sound. I think that's what I heard. His shoe, like when he was walking, his shoes were making noise, so arbiter stopped him from walking. That's all I heard. I don't know anything about Alireza's dad being escorted out. Let me explain Queen's Gambit Declined. Why not? So I'll show you. Actually, I have pretty good understanding of Queen's Gambit Declined because I play it as both white and black. All right. Let me explain some QGD. So we had d4, knight f6. Let's start with knight f6 move order. Doesn't really matter. But this is the... Actually, no, let me be more precise. Let's go with this one. This is the absolute QGD. This is the absolute QGD. Now, if you want to play a risk-free position which can put black in some trouble, risk-free position which can put black in some trouble, you take on d5. This is the way to play risk-free. And you can play bg5 here. This is called the Carlsbad structure. And the plans are pretty simple here. So black will probably play bishop e7. Your idea is to play e3, bishop d3, queen c2, put the knight on either f3 or e2. This knight will go one square and you castle. So I'll show a sample line without anything. So let's say e3, castle, bishop d3, c6, queen c2, knight d7. We play knight e2. And the plans are to play short castle f3 e4 or rook b1 b4, attacking b5. This has been the traditional way to play it. You can also play it with knight f3, which has some other subtleties. Like knight f3, the best move is h6. And then bishop h4 has been the traditional move and bishop f4 is the tricky move. If you play bishop h4, black, this was my game, bishop h4, the best move is rook e8. You want to exchange pieces because then the minority attack loses its power. So b4, b5 will lose its power if pieces are exchanged after knight e4. So white plays a move like castle. This is very common. We play knight e4, bishop takes, queen takes, and now we claim this knight is very strong. This knight comes to f6, but I mean this is still slightly better for white. You can take and play, no, not take, sorry. You play b4. You can try this. If I take, the knight hangs. So a move like this was my game, and black gets a pretty comfortable position, but so does white. Like this is playable for both sides. This is like perfect chess from both sides. So this is the Carlsbad, but more traditional has been the move knight e2 with the idea f3 e4. If you can get the big center, black is usually in trouble. I recommend studying games of Botvinnik here. Botvinnik played this very well. Botvinnik used to play this line very well. So this is your absolute risk-free position if you want to play for some win. But okay, it's possible. The other line is to play knight f3, bishop e7. And the most traditional move has been bishop g5. This is where you'll find all the old games. All the old games were played on bishop g5. More trendy is bishop f4. Bishop f4 is a more trendy one. My claim is, like, I play this as black, but bishop f4, I think white has a slight edge. Like, it's black can at best equalize after bishop f4. This is my claim. I'll show you some interesting lines. So bishop f4, castles, e3, c5 would be played in most games. Like this was the most popular beforehand because we had some top level games in the world championship matches here. I think Fabiano Carlsen matches went this way. Then we had dc5, most common move, bishop c5, and people were playing a3 to go b4 at some point. Queen a5 was the main move, or knight c6 first, I forgot. Knight c6 first. Queen c2, queen a5. Okay. Yeah, I'll answer all the questions. I was just explaining QGD because someone asked for this. So, queen a5 was being played, and traditionally, like most common moves here, were knight d2 and rook d1. Knight d2, the idea was to go knight b3, hurt this queen and this bishop. And the best move for black was usually bishop b4 and exchange this. Okay, this was one line. You can analyze this with engine. This is still good for white. Eventually, we figured out that rook d1 was a bit better than knight d2, as far as I remember. or bishop e2. I remember bishop e2 and rook d1 were supposed to be better than knight d2. So we were looking at this thing, and then we realized that we had an even more aggressive move. Yes, there is a gambit. It's coming right away. We were playing this move long castle. This is what we were thinking about. So this move actually has given me a few wins as white, online and over the board, I think, as well. One long castle has this very interesting idea that you want to go for h4 knight g5, and you can even sack with g4. So let's say dc4, bishop c4. Let's say a6, a move, slow move like a6. I could play h4. Let's say you play b5. I remember these lines were getting very tricky. I can play bishop b3, b4, let's say, and knight a4. You already have trouble here. So let's say you play bishop b7, and then we were looking at knight g5 stuff. And this was getting really crazy. If you play h6, attacking the knight, knight e4 actually is winning. Like knight takes e4, queen takes e4, h g5, h g5, and queen h7 was winning. Like g6, you can stop it for a little bit, but bishop takes e6. So this was a crazy line we were looking at like some time ago. Mamedyarov has played some great games here. So this is a little bit on the Queen's Gambit decline. If I go more into detail, this would essentially be a stream on Queen's Gambit decline, not the commentary. So I'll head back to that one, but maybe we'll discuss openings a little bit more. Are there any gambits in this line? I already answered that. Tell me how to increase FIDE rating fast in 5 years. Yes. What's your rate? Because every level has a different way. So, do you think this was somewhat satisfactory, or was there any particular line you wanted me to discuss? Like this long castling line, you can try in your games. You'll definitely have a few victories. Like bishop f4 is my favorite move. If you play bishop g5, I'll just mention this one thing. We actually found an interesting line. So bishop g5, bishop e7. This is what we were. This is what we were discussing. Like from the old days, like 1800s, 1900s. This is the line we were saying. And the most common move here was e3. And this is one of the reasons I don't like this line. So e3, h6, bishop h4. This was most common. And we found this new move recently, dc4. Was it after castle or was it dc4 is there either here or after short castle? I think it's right here. And then bishop c4, we were looking at c5 ideas. And if you analyze it in some depth, you realize that this equalizes. Apologies, it might be after knight d7 first. But there is dc4 early on, which I'm trying to recall where it is. Castle, knight f3, is it here? Bishop c4, c5, right here. It's either with knight d7 or directly, but you can definitely have a look with chess base, and the stockfish will actually show you where it exactly is. It's becoming popular. I think it is before castle. I think I'm 90% sure it's before castling, but might be afterwards. You can check on chess base. Sorry, I don't remember precisely. And this was we were claiming that this was for black. I mean, I saw some games, I know it equalizes. So I don't play bishop g5, I either play Carlsbad or I play bishop f4. What's your online rating? Trying to translate to my online rating. You have to subtract 300 to 400. So in my best shape, my peak chess.com was 2750 and my FIDE is 2370, 2375. So it's a difference of 300, 400 points. So if you're 2000 online, you're probably 1500, 1600 real life. 1700 would be a bit more far-fetched. 2000 online is approximately 1600 FIDE. Not in India. In India, things are different. in European, maybe European countries. If you're online 2000 FIDE, you're probably 1400 FIDE in India. But let's say if you're 2000 in India, you are probably 2400 chess.com. So then the difference is more accurate. 2000 FIDE in India is 2400 online. Okay. So this was my insights on QGD. I'll make a detailed video if you want. But let's see the commentary. And knight f1 idea calling for it. A4 by Abasov takes. A4 will be weaker. Always knight f1 decent idea. Rook b1 was also possible, gaining the file. Reasonable, not too bad. Knight f1 is good as well. And then you try to put this knight on e3. Really that. Fabi is winning. Good night, brother. We'll check your channel from now on. Look forward to learn something in future. Okay, have a good night, Akash. Have a good night. Good night, Akash. Really, was really. Tisha, let's have a look. Oh, no, no, no. This is wait, wait, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. This actually happened. Wow. I told you H4 was a practical try, right? Like, and Ali Reza immediately made a mistake. Immediately. Can you see what we have here? This is actually not very hard for Fabiano to find. Bishop takes e6, and Fabiano has this move which we have been waiting to see for a very long time, e5. We saw this in like two variations before. You can't take with the knight. That's not possible because f4 and my queen is out of the pin. So you have to take and one of your pieces falls. It will either be this knight or this knight. Can't do that. You have to take with the pawns. But then you have tripled pawns, which are really bad. And I can take and play knight c5 with a terrible structure for black. So I am assuming a win for white. No, you didn't see the pin. No, it was there. It was there. It was there. Are there any questions which I haven't answered? Yeah, the end mating patterns in with its game were crazy. Yeah, yeah. Keshav, you're right. Especially the rook takes g6 was very nice. The finishing move yesterday's game. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Really, really pleased to see you guys. I mean, I really like the engagement today as well. It was great yesterday, but it's still very good today. Isomaniac is not here today, is he? Yesterday he was here. Isomaniac. Let me know if you're in the chat, Isomaniac. Oh, you QGD mating patterns. Ah, yeah, after the gambit. Yeah, it's nice. Very, very, very nice. Yeah. I've won some games like that. I mean, I can cover my games in a separate video. That definitely on chess.com. This line works especially well in Blitz. In Blitz, your opponent will have no chance of figuring out what's going on. But even in classical, it can work with good preparation. You. Who's better, Hikaru or Tal? Well, the question is that one. They are players in different eras, no? Hikaru could analyze with engine, Tal could not. So, can we really make a comparison? Can we really make a comparison? I think if Tal had engines like Stockfish 16, if Tal had that, maybe Tal. But still, that I think it's very close actually. Hard to say. But really an invalid comparison since they were in different eras. And the level of defense has changed over time as well. Like in Tal's era, it was harder to defend. Sorry, in Tal's era, people were not defending well. These days, people are defending very well. Have you played against Magnus? No, I haven't played against Magnus. No. I have a friend who has, and he was close to beating Magnus, but his internet died away. And so he could not win that game. Very unlucky. I think you can't compare players before Engine and after Engine. Like Kasparov and Magnus must be miles apart just because of. Yeah, I mean, come on. Like Kasparov in his prime was, come on, he was dominant as hell. Yeah, I think Kasparov Carlson comparison is also a little bit invalid. Like you give Kasparov Stockfish 16 back in that time, see what happens. The only player which I think we can call for the best comparison and maybe probably the best of all time is probably Bobby Fischer. Like Bobby Fischer was doing things which you can regard as really being sign of geniusness. I mean Kasparov was doing too as well. Kasparov had some amazing calculation. But I have a feeling that Fischer would have been on top if he had played for longer and if he had the engine resources. Why is Fabi not considered as the third greatest for having the third highest rating of all time? The rating doesn't mean that much. In pre engine time, like, okay, there were ratings in pre engine time as well, but Fabiano is yet to show a level of consistency and dominance which Carlsen has. Like Fischer showed a lot of dominancy in his period. Kasparov showed a lot of dominancy in his period. Anand showed a lot of dominancy in his period. But Fabiano has not shown that dominancy because he was actually in the same period as Carlsen. So he doesn't actually make it into the list. It's unfortunate he could not show that dominancy while Carlsen was around. And even for the brief period which he did, which was when he was playing Petrov, that period lasted only for like 1 year, 2 year, no, 2 years. So, yeah, I mean, to be in the greatest player list, you have to show dominancy. Yeah, Fisher's peak was that, and yeah, few GMs. So definitely, but no, I'm not saying you're not getting my point. I'm saying that my hypothesis is that if Fisher had the same resources that we have today, he would be the greatest player of all time and not Carlson. That's what my thought is. And because Fisher had so unique ideas of his own that he could probably surpass Kasparov and Magnus. Then you can argue that could Fisher calculate as good as Kasparov? Probably not. So yeah, it's very hard to compare. It's just my opinion. Like I've analyzed games of all of them. I just feel like Fisher was something who could have been the GOAT if there were engines around. Yes, that's true, Keshav. That's true. That's true. So let's see if there have been. That's absolutely true. He had illness. Yeah, he was suffering from some medical illness. I think paranoia was it. But one of the few things. So Fabiano just this and e5. Nothing has been played so far. Let's look at the other things. Hikaru's game, nothing yet. Pragyananda's game, nothing yet. This game, what is this Rook? Apparently, Rook G3 is a mistake in Gukesh's game. You know, I think that's an unpopular opinion, Candy Shop owner. Like Fisher Random Chess. I don't know how many people like it actually. Do many people like? Do you? What? Let me know in the chat. Do you guys like Fisher Random? Watching Fisher Random and playing Fisher Random. Do you like it? I have watched the movie Pawn Sacrifice. It's awesome. Awesome movie. Another movie I recommend, like if you really want some sports motivation, is Rise. This is another great movie based on sports. It's on the life of Giannis. You know the NBA player Giannis. If any of you watch NBA basketball, it's on life of Giannis and his brother. What a movie! What a movie! I would agree. Yeah, it does feel like that. It's just my thought that I like standard chess a bit more, but I understand your point. You have a very valid point. No preparation, and it's like the old days. I feel a little bit scared for Nepomniachtchi's bishop. Just want to make sure it doesn't get trapped at some moment. Gukesh has no problems in this position. He just moves his king, and Nepomniachtchi is yet to show his cards. Yet to show his cards. So, what do you think about Nepomniachtchi's position? Would you prefer white or black in this position? Oh, come on. Kasparov is better than Karpov. Come on, this is not a debate. I mean, yes, Karpov was great at positional play. Some might call him a genius as well, but come on. Kasparov is better. Kasparov is better. Fisher random is good, but you can't determine tournaments on the basis of Fisher random. Players would claim one had a better random set than the other. Yeah, logically, it's a theoretical argument, but then you can argue how to determine if one set is better than the other or not. What do you mean one set was better? Do you mean that white had a advantage from the beginning? Like in one set, white has more advantage than the other? But guess what? We haven't even been able to determine how much advantage does white have from the start in our standard position. So how do we determine who had more advantage at the start in different arrangements in chess 960 positions? So how do we even formulate that argument? It's theoretically an argument that one side could possibly have more advantage in one arrangement, but how do we make that comparison? Because engines are not that good at analyzing Fisher random yet. They are okay, but not that great. Yeah, no, I understand, Keshav, your point. Yes, we all start from same, we all seem equal. Then it comes down to who has more understanding, right? So why Soviet period chess player are so good? Soviets were working together. So Soviets were training with each other all the time. So you place three grandmasters in the room. They all are analyzing together, and they're all putting their own inputs into a position. Of course, you'll get better quickly, no? If everyone is helping out everyone, then you have like five brains working on a position instead of just single one like me. If I am, let's say, not a Russian or a Soviet player. Like, do you think Vishy Anand in his time was working with lots of people? No, right? There were fewer grandmasters and he had to hire them. He didn't have any friends he didn't have many friends he could discuss lines with because people were not strong back then in India. But Soviets were traditionally very strong. They were analyzing with each other. Any advice to fix blind spots? I keep missing obvious captures one or two squares away. Well, the one thing would be the question is it because you lose focus or is it because you genuinely don't see them? Because let's say you're playing a chess game, your mind is elsewhere, then you're going to miss things. But if it is purely because of skill, then puzzles will help. If it's because of concentration, then you gotta concentrate on your own. So it depends on the reason. But puzzles are the best way. And playing. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. I mean, I think there was a story. I think you remember the famous tournament Zurich 1953? I think Smyslov was forced to resign in one of the games. Or Bronstein was forced to resign in one of the games to make Smyslov lead the tournament, something like that. One of the players was forced to resign. Was it Kiris? Was it Bronstein? I can't remember. But one of them was forced to resign so that Smyslov could take the lead because Smyslov was sick at the time, little bit sick during the tournament. So that's as far how how far the Soviets went. I think they threatened a guy. I think they threatened Bronstein. Yeah, we can move to Fabi Abasov. Why not? Wait, Fabi Abasov is not a game. It's Hikaru Abasov. Do you mean Hikaru Abasov or Fabiano's game? Which one? Genuinely miss them, yeah. Okay, yeah, then it will be solved with puzzles. That's all you can do. Like puzzles, it's so criminally underrated. Like how people undervalue puzzles because puzzles are the fastest way to improve. In today's day and age, it seems crazy forcing a player to resign so someone can lead. We would be winning candidates in this way. It actually happened in Zurich. I don't remember if he actually resigned or he agreed to a draw, but he was getting threats for sure. For sure. Yeah, but now this game, still uncomfortable for Nijat Abasov. But Hikaru has less time on the clock, which is suspicious. Even though his position is comfortable, he's probably just trying to find the best way. Knight e3 is completely playable here. Really take because bishop takes f6 is good for Hikaru. I mean, look at these weaknesses. Rook e d1, I take on c4, I'm threatening to take on f6. This is just very unpleasant for Abasov if this happens. So knight e3 can definitely be played. I think Hikaru will find knight e3. Bishop takes e5 is not a threat. One, you lose your bishop pair. Bishop pair is very important in an open position. Two, you ruin your structure. Three, there are targets like these targets. Of course, I know the famous blunder of Bobby Fischer. The bishop takes the game one of the world championship match, right? Of course, I know bishop takes h2, famous one. Question: do you know the famous Karpov bishop a7? That's the question. That's what I'm curious to see. Uh, was it against Anand? I doubt it was against Anand. I don't think bishop a7 was against Anand. Highly doubt it. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember who it was against. I remember the bishop a7 idea. Unfortunately, not who it was played against. But this position, I'm really expecting. Can you play it? What do you mean, can you play it? Play what? What do you mean against Anand, world champion? Bobby, bishop a7 is not a line, it was a middle game move. So, like, I would have to open the game on a different screen, and the screen would deteriorate a bit because this screen is optimized for chess.com streaming. No, but I know Kasparov made a similar blunder against Anand. I think I also once. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That video is on YouTube, Keshav. You're right. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was funny. That was funny. But Kasparov could not believe himself for that blunder. I remember. Let's see other games. This one's yet to move. Knight e3 is the expectation. And then we are looking at with it. No, equal. No, come on, Fabiano. This guy did not play bishop e6. Come on, guys. Come on. This guy had such a great chance. What does he do? Yeah, we can go to the women's games, but come on, guys. Fabiano missed. Really? He's going to go home and hit things. Fabiano's gonna go home, see e5, and he'll have anger issues today for sure. Women's games, yeah, they were becoming. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. Like, do you think it's really hard for a former 2800 player like, no, we're currently 2800 player like Fabiano to miss e5, takes and e5? Premature ejaculation, yeah. But like, yo, come on. Like, if I had that much time on the clock, which Fabiano does, I'm not joking, even I would find this. Like, I'm not a grandmaster, not a grandmaster, but with this much time on the clock, even I would find this two mover. Two mover. Come on, guys. You're joking. You're joking. How can Fabian? How can Fabiano not find this? Tripled pawns. He could have got Firouzja tripled pawns and a ruined pawn structure. No, this guy plays bishop e2, which really doesn't do anything. And you know, Firouzja can actually take on b3 and then take on g5. And white doesn't even have the bishop pair. And this will be a draw. Alternatively, you can probably take and play knight h7, not give up the bishop pair. And then play f6. Pretty equal. Engine claims a slight advantage. I think it's closer to equal practically. Like, come on, Fabiano is. Let's go to women's games, man. I don't want to watch this one. Fabiano's ruining my mood. Someone asked me in the chat, right? Why is Fabiano not the third greatest player of all time? You see it right now. Let me just open the women's candidates. Where are the games? Yeah, I mean, I was looking at, they are at least sharper than the men's category. Like, I don't know what happened this game, but accuracy for white is 99.1, accuracy for black is 99.5. Let's see what opening preparation was here. How do you feel about Ding's chances of Gukesh or Nepo win the candidates? I'm not betting on Ding. I think he's out of form. I would bet on Gukesh if he wins the candidates. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, castle d4, b5, open Ruy Lopez. Very theoretical. Bishop g4, interesting idea. a4, b4, h3. You could also take, and there is some complicated line after knight takes e5, queen f5. You attack both the knights, so you regain the pawn after, let's say, knight g6. You can take first and then take on e4, you regain the pawn. Okay, so bishop h5, bishop b3, attacking d5. Knight takes e5, attacking f3. Bishop takes knight c5, amazing move for some reason. F4 c6, only move, otherwise you lose the rook improperly. You can't move the knight. If you move the knight here, then cb4, you move this knight and then 8, f5. Crazy preparation, very crazy preparation. f4 first, c6 preparation, bishop g2 preparation, queen takes d1 only move, else c6 hangs. Takes rook d8, takes cb4. Knight b3 is possible, which was played. Knight b3 only move actually. Taking here loses. Knight takes c1 and knight c3. Knight d3, you get pinned. Knight b3 only move, rook a3 only move, f takes only move, bishop takes only move, rook e3 new move. Rook f3 was best. Well, they are approximately equal. But no, it's not brilliant. It was brilliant by chess.com. Practically speaking, it's probably one of the only moves. I just said brilliant because chess.com said brilliant. And Nijat Abbasov is 6th highest rated player from his country. Where is Abbasov from again? Is he from Azerbaijan or somewhere else? Let's explore knight c5 for a second. Is it or were there other options? Even knight f6 is there, taking is there. This is actually a draw. You can take here and king g2, knight h4 is a draw, as Engine claims. Or is it? King h1? Oh, now it's changing its evaluation. It's saying we have some ideas after knight f6, tricky. And if you take, there is queen takes a8, black actually starts to win. Boom. When all your pieces are stuck like this, well, you better start praying. This knight takes f3 was cunning as well. And if you take, that's bad. Queen takes d5. I gain your bishop. Bishop is the strongest piece. And they are stuck. So that doesn't work out. Knight takes f3. Have to play king g2. Knight h4. Have to play king h1. And then after knight f6, you have to give a check first. King f8, you have to take. And evaluation fluctuates. I have no idea what's going on. Very complicated position. You'll have to calculate all the way to figure out. Yeah, let's go to VD. Whether there's somewhere here. What do you want me to commentate here? Not much going on here, is there? Azerbaijan, so you've got Mamedyarov there, you've got Rauf Mamedov, who's probably higher than Nijat. Mamedyarov. Who else is there from Azerbaijan? Really strong. Gadir Gusenov. Also a 2600 Grandmaster. Who else? Why is Abbasov low? If you mean all time, maybe Gashimov also. Do you guys know about Vugar Gashimov? I'm very curious. He died at a young age, but do you know him? Vugar Gashimov. This guy unfortunately passed away early, but this guy was special with his calculation skills. He could play extremely sharp chess. And he was playing Benoni at high level. Imagine. He was playing Benoni against Grandmasters and he was winning. Check out a game of Grishuk against Gashimov. Craziest, sharpest game you'll ever see. Grishuk versus Gashimov, Benoni, I think. Or Sicilian. Might be the other way. Might be Gashimov versus Grishuk. But this was an absolutely crazy game. There have been multiple, but you will know from this one. This one was, oh my god. The calculations. Holy. Vugar Gashimov passed away early, but wow, what a legend. What a legend. We actually have a tournament in his name. We used to have Gashimov Memorial in which these top guys would play. But b3, like black is probably just getting ready to castle long. Castle long, maybe start attacking with f5 after rook f8. Put pressure here. White has to decide as well where he castles, short or long. Could go. White is keeping his options flexible. And this is what you should do, keep your opponent guessing. Unless it's wrong. So white's king is safe. That means he can keep the flexibility. He has not yet decided whether he will castle long or short. But I think it makes more sense for black to castle long so that he can attack on the king side with rook f8, f5 ideas. Castling short isn't too bad actually as well. If you have the rook on f8 ready to play f5. So both are okay. The only thing is that if black castles short, white will castle long perhaps. If you castle short, I castle long, I think, no? Actually, no, engine is against long castling. Ah, f5 is sharp. Okay, f5 is sharp. But could you play... Well, seems like white has to short castle. And then if f5, ef5, queen d5, you don't even touch the pawn. Queen d5 apparently is better. Oh, of course the pawn is not hanging, what am I on about? But you are now threatening rook takes f5. If queen takes f5, then you have checkmate. So not f5 right now, but maybe rook f7 to go rook f8 and then f5. Possible. Could Hans become world champion? That's my bet. I highly believe he would. Because that guy is crazy determined. Have you seen his series where he's doing his journey to world champion on YouTube? Are you guys subscribed to him? I think Gashimov was Mamedyarov second, not other way around. Well, these guys work together as well, so I don't know. Might be that they were each other's second. But I think as far as I heard, some time ago, Gashimov was... if he charges his engine... Guys, come on, we really want to get into this whether he's innocent or a cheater. I mean, it would become controversial, right? But unless there is some definite proof, we can go with innocent until proven guilty. Until there is some definite proof that he cheated in a physical game. I know he cheated online, I'm not denying that. But if he's playing fairly, in real life games, which there is a chance. Yeah. No. Oh, you meant Mamedyarov is Nijat's second, you think? Could be, actually, yeah. I mean, they're both from the same country. They probably speak the same language. And Mamedyarov plays some really sharp things. So yeah, Mamedyarov could be helping Nijat. I'm not surprised. Wow, Hans versus Nepo 2025 world champion. Well, Hans is not even in the candidates, and Nepo is not the world champion. So these are two things which will take time. Do you mean 2035 or 2025? 2025 will be Dingleren's world championship match, not Nepo's. But I think next candidates we'll see Hans qualifying. I think Hans qualifies for the next candidates. Really, really believe so. But this game not going on much. Let's have a look elsewhere. We have a pawn on g4, ready to go to g5. Things are becoming spicy here. Things are becoming spicy. Knight g actually the best move by Hikaru. No, second best move. Best move was knight e3, according to engine. But knight g4 practically seems sound. You have gotten rid of a defender of d5. So the knight on f6 was defending d5. The defender is not there anymore. And e7 hangs. E7 is in pressure. Once e7 goes away, d5 will be further weak. And knight e3, bishop f5, all these sort of tricks are coming. All these sort of tricks are coming. And now, I mean, throughout the game, Nijat has been in trouble, but he's still up on the clock, which is funny. You kind of feel like Hans is overrated. Like, not if for the NLB theory, half the people won't know him, and I've also seen him miss basic moves. Well, to an extent, you have some point. Sometimes he plays bad. Well, he's yet to gain consistency, but come on, he's only 20. He will gain consistency. But, if he's fair, he's still very strong for his age. I mean, he's beaten Nihal. He's beaten all the top Indian juniors. He's beaten Gukesh. I think he's beaten Gukesh. He's beaten Prag. He's beaten Nihal. He's beaten Arjun. So, he's still strong in that sense. But yes, little bit inconsistent. Plus, he doesn't get invites from strong tournaments anymore. He's got anger issues. He's broken stuff in St. Louis. He got banned there. So, he's playing in open tournaments where it's hard to increase rating. Yeah, Arjun is world number 5. It's phenomenal. I think it's world number 7 now on live rating. I think when I was checking like a couple of days ago. Is he world number 5 or 7? The news was he became 5. I think he dropped a little bit. Someone can check and let me know. And I think Prag is world number 11. Gukesh is world number 10. Is that right? Gukesh is 10 and Prag is 11, I think. Okay, so it's 5. Okay. Yeah, at such a young age. Phenomenal. Where is Abdus Satarov? Abdus Satarov was world number 4. Is he still or is he dropped down? Has he dropped down? You want to check at 2700chess.com. So 2700chess. This is where you see the live rankings. Yeah, Vishy Anand went from 1 to number 4. But come on, this happened after like 30 years. 30 years. Who is the highest rated player you have won? Online? Online or real life? Oh, Arjun is 7 now. I told you, yeah? Real life or online? Yeah, Gukesh 10, Prag 11. Exactly. Both. Online, I won against Ali Reza. Real life, I won against 2560. Yeah. 2560. I think if you know Krasenko, Grandmaster, what's his name? Krasenko is his surname. I forgot his first name. Mikhail Krasenko? Or might be another Grandmaster who was a little bit more than him. I think Mazi Sebastian maybe. But yeah, online it's Ali Reza. Online I've beaten a few people. In over the board I'm yet to beat really strong people. But okay, one really strong, one or two or three actually. When I say really strong, I mean like 2600, 2700. Haven't beaten any 2600s yet. Haven't played any 2700. What are you studying in London? I'm studying maths. Maths at my university. Bachelor's in mathematics. So we were discussing yesterday, like, do I like how good I am at maths, or like, is there a correlation between maths and chess? And I mean, I'm doing a maths degree, so make out of it what you will. Why can't Hikaru play bishop e7? Firstly, has queen e8 been played, or is it my move? Queen e8 has been played. Firstly, bishop takes e7, queen takes e7. You can't take on d5, even rook hangs. So that's a blind spot. Who was talking to me about the blind spot? Was it Ram who was talking to me about the blind spot? Where is it? Uh, can't see it in the chat now. It was a few chats ago. Okay, someone was talking to me about the blind spot. Okay. Yeah, there is your blind spot, realize that bishop takes, queen takes, there is two pieces on the e file. So you can't just take here, the rook hangs. And if you take this rook first, then bishop takes. Or even f takes. Getting the file open, then you play e5 maybe. You would love to have queen d3 for a checkmating idea, but there is a pawn on c4. So you should not do bishop takes e7, but you can still play knight e3, attacking d5, which is really good. Summon way. Oh wow, we are going down the memory lane. I came from Bal Bharti days. How do you know I was at Bal Bharti? How do you still remember that? Are you from Delhi? Someone, welcome to the chat first of all. Welcome to the stream. Used to come play zonals. Oh, you're memories. You're triggering some memories. Yes, I have played CBSE zonals a few times. In fact, CBSE zonals was my first ever tournament, I think. Like first ever. We are talking about CBSE zonals 2015. That's how far we are going back. Yeah. Which zonals did you see me in? But okay, 93 is possible. Attacking the spawn. Any other games? Any other fascinating games? No. Position really changed here, didn't it? Rook g3, we had king h8. King f8 was also possible. King h8, c3, takes. Completely equal. Little bit weakness here, and little bit weakness here. But queen d7 defends this one completely. Next move is a5, so we solved that. So white plays b4 to avoid a5. Takes. Now a6 pawn is weak, but so is d5. Rook e5 attacking the weak pawn. Queen d4 defending the weak pawn. Queen a7, and white claims after the queens get traded, the rook endgame is an easy draw, or at least some advantage for black. For black, little bit, very little bit. Oh yeah. Sarthak from Presidium, I do remember Sarthak Tulli, no? Sarthak Tulli. Yes, I do remember him. Haven't spoken to him in a time, but yeah, I do remember him. I'm at London School of Economics, LSE. So yeah, I do remember zonals, yes. But how do you remember me from the zonals? That's the question. Because zonals was so long ago. Oh wow. I did say that I'm doing maths degree, a degree in maths. Bachelor's in mathematics, 3-year course. I'm in my first year. First year is about to complete. Then I go into second year. Well, wow. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Nice. Wait, Saman, you are you from Balbharti or no? Or you from some other school? Well, okay, let me see if black white has any opportunities here. You can try queen g4, and there is, if you play queen h4, there is king g7. And then, with this weakness, counteracting this weakness, white does not have anything special. This will go very peacefully. It will either be a draw or a little bit favorable for Gukesh, a little bit. But if queens get traded, we can expect a draw very soon. Nepo is up on the clock, so I don't expect him to lose. Just a matter about whether he wants to keep the queens or trade them. If he trades, then rook takes. A little bit difficult for white to defend. After a5, no weaknesses for white. No weaknesses for white. Black plays a4, only one weakness for. Sorry, no weaknesses for black, only weaknesses for white. Only weaknesses for white. Oh, you are from Presidium. Okay, okay. Have you officially met or you just remember me? Like, did we ever speak? Even briefly? But yeah. So, yeah, this one's there. Any other games you guys want me to look at? Let me see if there is any other thing going on. Uh, Actually, let's look at the standings for a second. No, never mind. Let's look at this one. Hikaru has played knight f1 in this one. No, sorry. Oh wait, knight f1 was already there. He has to play knight e3. Wait, something has happened. He played bishop g3, not knight e3. It's still a good move. I just like knight e3. Still a good move up according to engine. You get rid of black's good bishop. So now black is only left with the bad bishop. So principally a reasonable move. I just thought knight e3 was more pleasant to the eye and perhaps even objectively better. But bishop g3, the principal logic is that once you get these bishops off, black has the light square bishop and the pawns are on light squares, which is bad. Also, a3 will be weak. Yeah, Hikaru's doing pretty good here. Hikaru's doing pretty good. Vishali, yeah, when you were practicing with our team between the rounds. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Likewise, Summon. Wow. I must have made a memorable impression on you if you remember me still. I feel famous. No. Vaishali, is something special going on in her game? Let's have a look. Vaishali's game is an equal end game. Equal end game. But even though white has a bishop and it's an open position, black's pawn structure is better, which is why I like black's position a little bit more. Okay, answer this question. In an endgame, do you want pawns more in the center or more towards the outside? Let's check your endgame knowledge. In endgame, do pawns closer to center or more towards outside on the flanks? Until then, I'll just stretch a little bit. What do you mean more marginal? Oh, you mean on the margin? Yes. Now the next question is why? Why? Yes, more to outside. The question is why? You know the rule? Do you know the logic? Do you know the principle? What is the principle? Why do we want pawns on the outside? Why not center? But this looks pretty comfortable for Vaishali. Like no weaknesses in her position, better pawn structure. So yeah, yeah. In king pawn end games, outside pass pawns generally win you the game. Yes. So outside pass pawns are harder to stop. Yes. So if king is running towards the outside pass pawn, the king leaves the other side open, so you can attack on the other side. Yes, that's the principal reason. In king pawn endgames, you want to have outside pass pawns, and yeah, you can generalize that for any endgame. That's right. So here we see two pawns for Vaishali on the queen side, one pawn for white. White has the bishop, Salimova has the bishop, but the h3 pawn is a weakness, and I don't really see good winning chances for white. Maybe White has one plan actually. White is planning to play f4, e5, rook d1, d6 and create one pawn herself. So maybe Vaishali has to be a little bit careful. I thought this was easy, but maybe not as much as I thought. So let's say we play king here. You can't, can you? This would be bad, right? You have rook h8. Yeah, rook h8. If this rook is defending here, then pass pawn creation here is difficult. I play rook h4, putting pressure here and in here. e5, g5. There comes the attack. I do think it's a draw. Like between top players, it's usually a draw. And the time situation is good as well. Let's say Vishali was severely under time pressure, I would give white a slightly upper hand, but they have enough time on the clock. They have enough time on the clock. And how many moves do they have to make? 12 moves. Sorry about that. 12 moves in like barely 30 minutes. Would you stream the Norwich chess tournament? When is it? I don't even know when it is. Depends on how close it is to my exams, right? My exams are in May, early May. When is Norwich chess? I have no idea. So this one is a draw. Let's see any other sharp games. I like to see sharp chess. I don't like to play sharp chess, but I like to see sharp chess. I play sharp chess in necessary situations. Where is sharp chess? This seems a little bit sharp. I was just curious. It's May. Okay, then probably unlikely. A mistake here. We'll see. Minor mistake, I would say. Oh, you were curious when did I move out of India and leave your school? So I was in India until 2019. I came to London in October 2019. So been here for a while. Still have not got the accent though. Still don't have the British accent. Still have the Indian accent. It's funny because like some people get the British accent in one year, and it's been 4 years, 5 years for me. Still, I have the Indian accent. I Yes, I am first year because I did the 10th class in India. I did it in London. So 10th, 11th, sorry, 11th, 12th, 13th. We have till 13th here. I didn't come to London for university. My university started just now. So rook c1, what's going on here? Like white has got some attack in, but apparently rook c1 is not the best move. Why? What is the trickery? What is the trickery here? Why is rook c1 an error? I don't see it. It's not intuitively obvious to me. Probably there is some connection that black wants to disrupt. Oh, there is. Yes, my logic was along the right lines. And now we can make it work. There's only one move which gives black advantage. Only one move. Some advantage for black. Guess. You want to disrupt this connection. Somehow. Crazy move. Crazy. Crazy but logical. All comes down to that white's queen is doing two jobs, attacking e7 and defending c1. And defending the d6 bishop as well. So three jobs. Defending the knight, four jobs. Yeah, four jobs. So disrupt some connection. Do something. Do something, guys. Pretty good move. Waiting. BC3 is not possible. Queen takes a2 is not the move. It gains a pawn, but if queen takes a2, you lose the bishop. Queen takes a2, you lose the knight c8. So this is lost for you. You got to be more attentive to tactics, you know. Sometimes being greedy is bad. Black's king is a little bit unsafe. I I don't actively study. No, I don't have time to actively study chess because of academics. When you come to university, especially here, it's so tough. You don't get time for chess. Like, I mean, sometimes I will be studying for so many hours in a day and still not be able to complete the course. I should actually be ending stream right now and being studying, but you guys are showing such good engagement that I don't feel like leaving. This is an irrational decision on my part because I really have to study, but emotions are taking over. And so, well, let me show you the move I was talking about. It's not bishop c2 as well. Because bishop c2, you lose the bishop, right? The move is actually king g6. King g6. Can you believe that? Yeah, no worries, Saman. Thank you for joining. Hope I'll see you in more streams. Do join in. Do join in. It was great talking to you. Do subscribe. Yeah, you subscribed. Okay. I don't know why I said that. Sorry. No. But king g6, what's the idea? If you take, the rook hangs. And then it's equal. Or at least a bit better for black because this knight is misplaced. So king g6 is like a... Yeah, and then, black's king is safe and white's knight is struggling. Might even get trapped if white is not careful. So this works out really well for black. King g6 is nice. This is nice. Haha, haha. Yeah, today the games are not very fun, are they? Like, not in the men's category at least. Like, you would have expected like a full on battle between Gukesh and Gukesh and Nepo, but nothing really happened. Okay, they agreed to a draw. Nepo Gukesh was a draw. They're still co-leading. I told you this was going to be a draw, no? Vidit ones is also very equal. They have castled. Vidit played the rook on f8 as I predicted, and he's trying for f5. This was predicted. Then yeah, difficult, right? Keshav is difficult in that game. This one is pretty equal. Not much to commentate here. With king b8, Vidit has allowed this idea of bishop c8 f5. So he's probably planning to play bishop c8. And now we have Hikaru's game. Got some advantage. Black declined the trade. Hikaru took, which is was best. And now Hikaru has rook b8. Rook b8, you probably capture, put a bishop on d6, attack here maybe. Queen d7. Oh no, wait, there is something better, right? Is it there or no? Rook b8, queen d7. Is there bishop h7? King takes, rook hangs. Seems like Abasov has missed a tactic, no? Bishop h7, king h7, rook takes f8. I don't see anything. No? Guys, am I blundering? Am I blundering? Something. Bishop h7, king h7, rook takes f8, queen a4. Okay, queen a4, but still, queen e2 perhaps? No, queen e2, bishop takes e3. Bishop h7, king h7, rook f8, queen a4. Queen a4, rook a8 back, no? Rook a8 back, pinning the queen. Yes, this definitely works. Bishop h7, rook takes f8, and queen a4, trying to go queen c2, rook a8. Completely wins. Yeah. Bishop c8, knight c8, bishop c8 where? After rook takes f8? Knight c8, then I have knight e3. Knight c8 doesn't do anything. Even g5 is probably interesting, but knight e3? Oh, bishop takes c3. Is it dangerous? Yeah, it probably is. Okay. Okay, let's try g5 then. If you take, then it's mate. And if you don't take, I open up your king. Oh, after not rook b8, rook a8. Okay, there is a pin, no? The bishop c7 is coming. So this is lost. If you play bishop c8, bishop c7 probably just wins. Would also take on f7. Oh, rook b8, bishop c8. Oh, bishop c8. Let's see. Bishop d6, attacking the knight, attacking the pawn. Seems huge pressure to me. Queen d7, let's say, or queen d7. Could take first here, no? Gain a pawn, and then take on e7, then gain this pawn. Seems good to me. Seems good to me. Maybe somewhere along the lines I might have bishop a4 and then take on e7. And if knight c8, which was someone else's suggestion, then bishop d6 again, attacking the rook. You can't take, the queen hangs. So that is the problem. So Hikaru will spot this tactic immediately. Yeah, Nijat won something called what do you call it? No, not one. He came third or he came fourth in the World Cup, not World Championship, which is a knockout event. He came fourth in the World Cup. Third was Carlsen. No, not third. Third one was someone else. But in top three, Carlsen was one of them. And top three were supposed to qualify. But Carlsen refused to play, so they gave fourth position, which is Nijat, the entry. Yeah, third was Fabi. First was Carlsen. I don't remember who was second. Who did Carlsen beat? Yeah, Fabiano Abasov played each other. Fabiano won, so Fabiano came third. Who did Magnus play? Oh, he played Prague. Really? Why don't I? Why don't I remember that? Ah, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did play Prague. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, good memory, you guys. Good memory. But yeah, I mean, this looks really good for Nakamura. Rook b8. Yeah, rook b8 is possible. This has happened. So we have had bishop takes e6. Now Nakamura is just supposed to play rook b8 and Nijat in huge trouble. One thing to note, yeah, Pragyananda did beat Hikaru, I remember. Yes. One thing to note, if Hikaru wins this one, then he's only trailing by half a point behind Gukesh and Nepo. Gukesh and Nepo are on 6, and if Hikaru wins, he will be on 5.5. He will be on 5.5. So that seems great, doesn't it? Yes, he did beat Fabi, he did beat Hikaru. This was in the news. Yes, 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 yes. It's so strange, I forgot about this. This was huge news at the time. Pragyananda was on fire. Pragyananda was on fire that tournament. But you know, he faced the final boss, Carlsen, final boss, and against Carlsen, we have psychological effects as well. So not easy to beat Carlsen. Well, Carlsen is the most skilled, and you have a psychological effect. So how do you win? Did Prague win any games against Carlsen, or was it a clear loss? Did it go to tiebreaks, or was it just lost? I don't remember him winning. We lost hope after VD lost to Abasov in that tournament, but an epic comeback after that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I do remember that as well. Yes, tiebreak. Were the standard matches a draw, or was it 1-1? Like in the sense that Pragyananda won a game and then the other guy won a game. How was it? So did Magnus win a game and then Pragyananda win a game, or both were draws? Yeah, yeah, that's what I recall as well. Yeah, draw. And then tiebreaks, Carlsen won. Okay, okay. Reasonable. But now, why is Hikaru taking so much time to play Rook B8? What does he not like here? What does he not like here? Maybe, I think I know what variation Hikaru's looking at. He's looking at Rook B, Bishop D8, Bishop C7, Knight C6. Maybe this is what he's not liking. But he still has Bishop A4, which is very strong. Puts pressure here, puts pressure here. This is good. He could also play Knight E3 though, no? Like I've been waiting for so long for him to play Knight E3. It's actually it's actually a little bit annoying. Like I've been waiting for Hikaru to play Knight E3 all this game and he's not playing it. So like Hikaru, listen to me. listen to me, doesn't play knight e3 for some reason. When in fact he played knight f1 to go knight e3. You know, these guys have all lost their mind. Like, he plays rook b7. It's the second best move, so not terrible. It's the second best move. But come on, what did you not like about rook b8, Hikaru? Hikaru, what did you not like there, man? What is this? Rook b8. Come on. Rook b7, second best move. Queen moves, we had bishop. Do you do you guys actually think that Hikaru missed bishop h7 by any chance? Do you think it's a possibility that he missed bishop h7? Did he miss it? Is there a chance? Because I am sure Hikaru thought about bishop c8 and knight c8. He also probably thought about bishop d8 and probably thought it was bad. Did he? If Hikaru doesn't play bishop h7, then this one is equal. So, do you think it's an actual possibility he didn't see bishop h7? You know, I mean, Ram, blind spots can happen to grandmasters as well. I mean, yeah, it would be unlikely that Hikaru didn't see this, but wow. He's the second best player, so that explains it. Yeah, that's okay. Is he world number two at the time? No, Hikaru's not world number two, is he? No. World number two is Fabiano, I think. Who's world number three? Hi, just a thought for the World Championship. Could you invite some FM or FM friends of yours and analyze games? Feel like it would be more interactive and would help you to build your channel as well. Yeah, why not? We will. We will. Sorry if this is a little bit boring. I'm still improving as a streamer. Sorry about that. But I'll try to be as entertaining as I can be. Sorry. Okay. Queen d7. So Queen d7, and now I'm looking at yeah, this I don't know what like here. We'll know from his post game analysis. But let's see what we can do after rook b7. We have knight g6, rook a7, queen d8. I don't know what's going on here. Rook a6 is the engine line. Bishop c7. You're threatening bishop takes g6 here. Bishop c7, knight e3. I don't know. This is not easy as it could have been. Still black has problems. Bishop g6, knight f5, bishop f5, all these sorts of things. But I don't know. Rook b7. Yeah, it's a move. It's a move. Second best move. Oh, okay. No, no. Candy shop owner. It wasn't offensive at all. Like I really appreciate any inputs. I really appreciate any inputs. It's just I understand your point. I understand your point now. No worries. No worries, Candy shop owner. You have been very supportive, even this stream and last stream. So really happy to have you here. You will be known as one of the OGs of the stream. OGs. You and this other guy yesterday, this maniac guy, isomaniac. You guys are the OGs. Even Ram will be an OG. Teshal has been there for a couple of streams as well, hasn't he? Yeah, the OGs. So I missed round eight. I think I didn't commentate on round eight because I was not at home. I was outside. I missed round eight. I started commentating from round five, I think. Round five, round six, round seven, round nine. Four streams, I think. Four. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why Maniac isn't here. Maniac usually is there for the full stream. Probably busy today or asleep maybe. Oh jeez. Welcome to the chat. How do I pronounce your name? PW Ollie Wolf. Don't know how to pronounce it. P Woli Wolf. Woli Wolf? I don't know. But welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to answer that question. Prug or Dubov? It's Prug. Dubov can be really creative at times, one of the most creative players living today, but objectively, Prug is better. Uh, uh, Prug's games are like, in terms of accuracy, Prug is better. In terms of creativity, Dubov is better. So if you really want to see creative lines, Dubov. But if you want to see precise chess, more precise, then Prug. Dubov, yeah, Dubov is good at rapid blitz. Not really. Sorry, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why I said not really. Uh, Dubov is great in rapid and blitz, yes. And Dubov does some really interesting opening preparation, like really clever lines. I remember Dubov played this one line against Nepomniachtchi in one of the World Rapid and Blitz. You can analyze this game. Dubov came with this line: e4 c5, knight f3 e6, takes knight c6, knight c3, queen c7, and not this one. It was here, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, knight b5, and the main moves here are d6 and bishop b4. But Dubov came up with bishop c5. It's still known, but he was playing this variation with king here, bishop f4, e5, knight f5, king f8. And he was doing some weird stuff. I think bishop g5, Dubov actually played d5 against Nepomniachtchi. Now, d5 gives engine a +1 or 1.5, but practically it is very difficult for white to find the best moves. And they eventually, I think, did a draw. Nepomniachtchi versus Dubov. So he came up with this line in one of their matches. You can analyze this game if you really want to see some sharp play. It was really cool to see. Dubov had great. Prag because Dosa. Have you also seen Dubov against Nihal? He won in very few moves. I don't remember this one, but maybe if I see the game, I would know. Dubov would have won. Dubov has won World Cup and even beat Magnus. When did Dubov win the World Cup? I don't remember him winning the World Cup. He has beaten Magnus on some occasions, I do know that. But he hasn't won the World Cup. I don't think that's correct. If he had won the World Cup, he would be in some candidates. I don't think he ever was in any candidates. The only player we are really missing from the candidates is Anish Giri and MVL. These are the players we are really missing in the candidates. Anish would have come with great preparation. Anish is an opening specialist. Oh yeah, World Rapid or Blitz may did he? I still don't believe that Dubov won any World Rapid or Blitz. I don't recall something like that. Did he actually? Did he actually? Yeah, Grishuk would be fun to have Grishuk. Grishuk would make things really interesting. Have you seen Grishuk's interviews? They're so cool. Grishuk's interviews are awesome. Wow, okay. You're telling me that Daniel Dubov won the 2019 World Cup. Why do I fail to believe that? Let me check. Let me check on my phone. Why do I fail to believe that? Who won the 2019 Chess World Cup? No, Radjabov won the 2019 World Cup, not Dubov. Yeah, he might have won World Rapid, yes. Yeah, we are also missing Wesley So. Yeah, Wesley So. Definitely a deserving one. Like instead of Wesley So, we have Ali Reza because I think Wesley So was supposed to be there and then Ali Reza played some open tournament to gain rating. He also organized one tournament of his own. So it was very close between, what do you call, Ali Reza and Wesley. That Yeah, no, Wesley So is really great. Really solid player, but really precise and really sharp with tactics as well. Great calculator. But would we have not liked to see Grishuk under time trouble and then playing like an engine? Would we have not missed that? We really missed that, don't we? So, Grishuk, of course, is a necessity in every candidates. I don't know how you bring back Tal from the dead, but yeah, we could have had Vishy. Don't know how you include Tal here, he's dead. Levon. Levon is not in his prime anymore. Levon was so sharp a few years ago, but he's not in his prime anymore. Wesley, so yeah, St. Petersburg, yes, but no. I mean, like this was the Bo's line which I was discussing. Let's see the other games. Uh, okay, seems like Nakamura's getting something. Why is the game not opening? Uh, Knight C error by Abbasov. Abbasov has made an error. Oh, Morozevich was a great player back in the day. He was playing weird openings, wasn't he? But really great middle game understanding. So he was getting some wins even with really dubious openings. Really dubious. Like there are levels to being dubious, and he was playing the most dubious opening level. Yes, Grishuk's wife is playing. Yes. Is it Lagno Kateriana or is it Kostyanyuk? I forget which one is his wife. But yes, she's there. Grishuk's wife name? What? I forget. Lagno, yeah? Lagno. Yeah. Lagno's playing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Levon's prime is not there anymore. Morozevich was strong back in the day. Wesley So is still very sharp, so Wesley would have been a great addition. Even MVL is not in his prime. MVL has lost a bit of momentum. Would have been fun to see Hans really fighting games. He always plays fighting chess, always playing for a win. So Hans would have been a great addition. Anish, of course, as I said. Who else? Maybe Abdusattorov. I mean, you could make a case for Abdusattorov. You could make a case that maybe Abdusattorov was possible instead of Ali Reza. I don't know. By the way, Knight C8 is a mistake because White has an amazing move here. Try to find if you want. Yeah, not for the chess, but for the banter. Yeah, sure. Sure. I agree. But why do we think, actually, why do you guys think Abdusattorov has not gained as much popularity as other Indian guys? Abdusattorov was world number 4 at one point, no? Why has he not gotten that much popularity? What do you think is the reason? It's not Rook B8 now. Come on, guys. We had our chance with Rook B8. No, there's an actually try to attack the king. Try to attack Black's king. Play like Tal. Try to. No, he misses it. He misses it. He still plays a good move, but oh wow, maybe played a better move. Oh no, it's an error. Okay. The move which he had was G5. G5. G5 was the move. If you take, Queen H5 wins on the spot. There is checkmate threat. If you play G6, Bishop takes G6. Pawn takes, that's mate. And if you play F5, then Rook takes G7. King takes G7. Bishop E5. If King G8, then this is mate. And if Rook F6, then say goodbye to your queen. So G5 was the move. The only move for black there was Queen C6, and then Rook B8 is precise. Only if you take now, we play Queen H5. F5, still take. And this was great. This was the ideal. Bishop F4 problem is that you are a little bit too slow after Queen C6. And now if Rook B8, Knight E7, now G5 is a little bit more difficult because the knight defends the king. So you take, I take, now G5 doesn't work. Takes Bishop C7, and this is about slight edge for white, but nothing special. Yeah, G5. Oh, Obese Project Pat. You were here yesterday as well, weren't you? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Bishop H7, does it? Did I miss something? Oh, it actually doesn't. Wow, does it not work here? Engine claims there is compensation here because these are forked. Oh, wow. Wow. Guys, the rook doesn't have a square. Where do you put the rook? The only square is b8. But now takes and bishop c7. We didn't have another square for the rook. Crazy tactics. Crazy tactics. This is absolutely marvelous. There is a bishop on e6. Can't play that. Can't play it. Come on, St. George's defense, mate. Come on. Come on. We can do better than that. I'm a real chess player. Come on. I'm actually curious. Have you guys played the Budapest Gambit before? The Budapest Gambit. But this, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why Hikaru didn't play g5. He has the right idea. He played bishop f4 to play g5, but why not g5 directly? That's what I don't understand. He's surely capable of calculating g5, but maybe he wanted to play without risk. If you miscalculate g5, then it can be a mistake, right? He probably did not want. He probably there was a line which was unclear to him, and so he didn't go for this. What? Rook b8, bishop b8, and queen f7. What are you on about, brother? What are you on about? So knight c8, g5. No, wait. Where was the variation? This bishop c7 line. Where was the bishop c7? So if I played g5, we were saying queen c6, then we were saying rook b8, then we were saying this. Oh no, wait, no, wait. It was rook b8 first. Then I said queen. Oh, wait, no, what am I saying? It was bishop f4 first. Then I said queen c6, rook b8. Then I said knight e7. Then we were discussing this and knight g6. And then we said this. What queen f7 wait, no, before this when bishop pinned rook and queen. Uh yeah. So it was after knight takes f4, right? So it was knight takes f4 and bishop c7. Okay, so now you want to play what? You want to play rook c8 or no? What do you want to play as white? There's actually only one way to play here. Like there's only one way to defend this rook. And it's actually pretty crazy. My guess is that you were talking about rook c8, but then takes queen takes f7, you are down a piece. I have two bishops, you only have a knight. So you're down a piece. The crazy way to defend this rook is to play queen c1. And then after bishop takes b8, you play queen b1. Check and attacks the bishop. This is how you save yourself. No, no, of course not. You don't have pieces to attack the king. Of course not. Sacrifices work when you have lots of attackers, or at least more attackers than your opponent has defenders. So, no, you don't really have pieces. But this is the way to gain back the lost. Great calculation required there. Guys, if you are watching the who are not in the chat, could you please subscribe because I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers. So if you can subscribe, I would really appreciate that. Would be awesome. Or at least like the streams. I mean, anything you can do to support the channel. If you like or subscribe, algorithm pushes it more. Sadly, queen alone cannot mate the king. Yes. Whoa, whoa, unlike real life. Wow. Slow down there. Slow down there. Slow down there. G5. Yeah, bishop f4, still waiting. Has queen c6 been played or not? Let me read. Queen c6, rook b8 on the board. On the board. And now we are looking to play g5. Now we are looking to play g5. But yeah, I mean, it would be unfortunate if Hikaru doesn't win this one because he was dominating from the beginning. He was dominating from the beginning. If Hikaru doesn't win this one, I say he doesn't win the tournament. He only has a real chance of winning tournament if he wins this one, I think. Abasov does find the best move, knight e7. And the question is, will Hikaru play bishop h7 or not? Abasov has definitely seen this trick that we were discussing. This bishop h7 trick not working in this case. He definitely has seen it. The question is, will Hikaru go for it anyways, or will he play something else? Turns out bishop h7 is still the best move. You don't really have anything better. Turns out you really don't have anything better. So bishop h7. Let us go to the Fabi game. Yeah. Fabiano, I'm really dissatisfied with him. He used to be one of my favorite players, but now the kind of chess he's playing, like, is lower than his rating. Like, he's not playing up to his mark. So I'm a little bit disappointed in Fabi. I mean, he's still an amazing, phenomenal player, but I know he has played better in the past. He's been so sharp in the past, but these games he's not. In fact, before the tournament, I thought like Fabi really deserves to get another shot at the World Championship. But this guy, okay, what is he doing? I'm not even angry. I'm just disappointed in him. Like he deserves so much better, but he's not proving himself. At high levels, 2700 plus, how hard is it to break through if your opponent is playing for a draw? For example, if Nepo knows he only needs and Gukesh needs a win. Oh, wow. Okay. So, let's talk about this. Do we know the famous Peter Leko versus Kramnik incident? Peter Leko versus Kramnik. Both are 2700 Grandmasters, or at the time they were. So, no, I'm telling you the thing. So, Peter Leko was playing Kramnik for the World Championship title, and Peter Leko only needed a draw with the black pieces. So he could play any opening he wanted, he only needed a draw. And Kramnik needed to win to hold his world championship title. Peter Leko lost this game and Kramnik retained the title. So under pressure, they can, of course, not be able to make the draw. But if the situation is not serious, then it's closer. Then it's a higher probability, especially with the white pieces. So if Nepo wants to make a draw as white from the beginning, it won't be very difficult. Won't be very difficult. But for a player like me or like closer to my rating, we still can make mistakes if we are playing for a draw. So we have to play for a win. Like we can go wrong if we try for a draw. These guys won't. So like at your level, I'd definitely go. No, that's what they do, Keshav. That's what they try. But imagine your opponent comes up with like some line which throws you off. So your opponent plays a new move which you haven't played before, then there is a psychological impact. And then you get a little bit disturbed, you make a slight error, your opponent capitalizes, and then they win. But of course, at a higher level, it's a little bit unlikely, little bit less chances. If you want to make a draw as white, equal strength players at the highest level, most likely it will happen. With black, difficult, more difficult, because white is always playing for advantage. No, no worries, obese project Pat. Hopefully you liked it. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully you are liking it. And this f5 by Firoza is interesting. F5 by Firoza is interesting. I think he's slowly taking over. Like, imagine we discussed how bad the position for him in the opening, and now he's trying to play for a win. That's how far we have come. Like f5 is a signal that he's trying for a win. How far we have come from Caruana getting a totally dominant position to Caruana struggling for maintaining advantage. Like I really wanted Caruana to perform well in this tournament. I'm disappointed. Really, like before the tournament, I thought if someone deserves a chance at the World Championship, it's Caruana. Yeah, resisting in percent is resisting in percent is something. Are you Teshal? Are you asking me that or are you telling me that? If you are telling me that, then I appreciate the compliment. No, yo, come on, Keshav. I 100% agree. Like, if all of these players were in their prime, like literally all of them, if they were in their prime, Fabiano would win. Fabiano's prime is stronger than any other player's prime in the candidates. So I was really hoping for Fabiano. In fact, I believe like Fabiano objectively stronger than Nepo. Fabiano's objectively stronger than Nepo, but Nepo's more consistent. I honestly think Fabiano Hikaru. Like Hikaru's very close. Hikaru is absolutely very close, but I think Fabiano has the edge. If you look at Fabiano's prime and Hikaru's prime, if you analyze those games in depth, I slightly favor Fabiano to Hikaru. But if you remove Hikaru, then Fabiano by far. Fabiano's prime is better than, much better than Nepo's prime. Even Aliriza's prime doesn't come close. Caruana is Caruana. Seeing Nepo in the World Championship will be so boring. Not going to lie. Yeah, it's boring because you're saying Nepo versus Ding. If you were saying Nepo versus Carlson again, it would still be interesting. It's because it's against Ding. That's the boring factor. F5 on Pasa, completely equal position. Probably will end in a draw. What do you think is causing Fabiano to underperform? Nerves. Fabiano has bad nerves. So Fabiano can perform very well on like a non serious situation. Like if this was, let's Vaikanze or Tata Steel, Fabiano would be performing much better. But knowing that the things are at stake, especially since he has to really win, psychology gets affected. And Fabiano has struggled with nerves a little bit in the past, even against Carlsen. If you check Carlsen's tiebreaks against Fabiano in their World Championship match, he was having nerves. I mean, Hikaru has had a bad score against Carlsen, especially in the classical. So, in that way, I sort of agree with you, obese project Pat. But Caruana needs to sort out his nerves. And nerves are a little bit less factor for Hikaru. Hikaru's nerves are better. Championship match, nerves were the worst. Nepo's Nepo's nerves are great here, absolutely brilliant in the candidates, but in the World Championship match they were not that good. Nepo's still an awesome player, don't get me wrong. It's just I think that his prime is weaker than Fabiano's prime. So no offense to Nepo whatsoever. Phenomenal player too. Do you think this is what is helping? Yeah, yeah, when you have no expectations, you play better, no? Yes, of course. When you like, no one was expecting anything from Gukesh and Prag. We thought they were young to the game. They'll probably lose a few matches. They'll probably win a few matches. So, like, we were not expecting them to lead the tournament, not especially after 10 rounds. Like, who thought Gukesh would be leading the tournament with 6 points out of 10? Who thought Prag would be leading the tournament? Like, close to leading the tournament. We didn't think of that. Okay, Fabiano has made a good try with c4. At least he's trying to keep the position solid. We actually sort of get a Vishali like position, don't we? If black takes on d5. Like if you take, isn't the Shali's game very similar structure, isn't it? However, White has a slightly better pawn structure, but similar endgame to Vaishali's. That's that. Guys, if you subscribed and you're not in the chat, please do. It really helps me grow for like as the channel grows. So I would much appreciate that. But else, enjoy the stream. Let me know if you want me to improve on anything or you want me to cover something right now, which I'm not. I want to serve your interests. You know, someone mentioned Gotham. Gotham, Gotham is Gotham has so much potential, but he doesn't is not utilizing it properly. Gotham over calculates in his games, like overthinks a lot. I've seen his analysis of classical matches. He overthinks a lot. Even I do a little bit, but he thinks overthinks a lot. So since I use a lot of logic, my overthinking level is less than him. Yeah, Gotham's nerves. I think he claimed that, didn't he? He said himself that his nerves are an issue. Yeah, but in Blitz he's very strong. However, in classical chess, sometimes he's making bad calculations, sometimes he's overthinking, which is what is pushing him back. But he has a lot of potential. He has a lot of potential. His tactics are very good tactics. I can tell he has solved a lot of puzzles in the past. Sharp tactician, but yeah, nerves and overthinking. He has also done some courses, hasn't he? He's done courses on Karokan. Please, I don't recommend you play Karokan. Uh, and does he have any GM norms? I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't think so. GM norm is incredibly difficult. Incredibly. But yeah, I mean, with right coaching, like if Gotham was being coached properly, and if he was, let's say, a little bit away from the streaming, he would get back to his prime. Could be. Let me check what Gotham's FIDE is. I think it dropped a little bit. He played some close tournaments. He played some close tournaments, but he lost some rating. Gotham is 2322. 2322. Do I think I can become a GM? In theory, yes. In theory, yes. But my time constraints and the other things I'm doing disallow me to do so. Like since I'm not practicing enough, how to do so? If I was practicing enough, if I had time to practice enough, discipline is not an issue. The time constraint is an issue. To become a GM, I would have to be practicing chess full time, and that means I would have to, let's say, give up on academics, which is an extreme decision. Yeah. So Yeah, but Sagar Shah had two norms when he was playing. That is correct. Sagar Shah was very strong as well, actually. I mean, he's lost quite a little bit of his strength when he was into streaming. But if you see his past games, really strong. Really strong. And a really nice guy. Sagar Shah is an amazing guy. Really polite, really friendly, amazing interviewer as well. Sagar Shah is the deal. What he has done for the chess in India, no one else has. I mean, Samay as well. Samay popularized it a lot as well, but Sagar Shah is is the one who really made chess famous in India, in combination with Samay. What do you think? Nothing going on here. Like the players are just getting low on time. Nothing much. Ah, yes. And Sagar Shah made some great videos on openings as well. Like, I remember learning Nimzo Indian from his videos when I was like literally getting started with Nimzo Indian as black. Like, Sagar Shah's videos were really instructive. So, if you want to learn Nimzo Indian from the basics, watch Sagar Shah's videos. Yes, 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 yes. I was so close. I mean, this was the mistake I made. I could have started streaming much earlier, but I did not have a title. I was very close to being a FIDE master. However, I did not have the title. So I thought like no one would watch me. But now I see so many untitled players getting views on for chess streams that I'm like, okay, maybe I should have started earlier. So this was a error I made. Well, technically I was a CM. I didn't apply for the title. I don't think CM is a real title if I'm being honest with you. Even you can argue FM is not a real title. Real titles are IM and GM. But at least FM is reasonable. CM is just a title for the sake of it. When you say FM FIDE master, you know what FIDE is. When you say CM candidate master, what does it mean? What does it mean? So I didn't apply for it. Really, you think so? Candidate master or something? You know what happened actually? Like, I was in huge momentum just before COVID. So, like, before COVID, my last tournament, I was on the rating of 2273. And I was 15 years old. Now I'm 19. I was 15 years old, rated 2273. And I started playing chess at the age of 11. So within 4 years, I was 2273 FIDE. COVID came, I lost all my momentum. And then when I played after COVID, I lost 100 points first, then coming back to 2300. So COVID ruined my chances. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of my story, but yeah. So Bishop H2, you know, how is Abasov better? It doesn't make any sense. How is Abasov better right now? How did Hikaru manage to misplay this? Hikaru Nakamura managed to misplay this. How? How? This is Exactly what happened, candy shop owner. Exactly what happened. And then it was like it was a big risk to go towards chess. Wait, on the same position as bishop h2. Is it? Let me refresh. No, mate. Like, come on, how can it be 1.7 for white? Where is the 1.7 coming from? There is no attack towards black's king. White just retreated the bishop to h2. The knight on f1 never came to e3. How can it be plus 1.7? Like, the whole game I was waiting for Hikaru to play knight e3 and he doesn't. Like, literally the whole game he didn't play knight e3. So annoying. In one of Sagar Shah's videos, he was saying how you lose a bunch of your rating first and then you gain a lot. But that was for trying to change playoff style, I guess. No, that was not the situation with me. Mine was loss of momentum. And then exams came, like higher education, I could not practice as much. So now I am a FIDE master at 2 IM norms, close to IM, yet to achieve it. The only thing is time constraints. I mean, come on, this can't be plus 1.7. This is definitely black has equalized. I'm telling you my evaluation as well. Like, forget about Ninja. I'm telling you this is equal. Yeah, not doing too bad. Yeah, your depth was at 44. Like, I still don't believe in it. Can you actually tell me what moves were there? Maybe my evaluation is wrong. Oh wow, you only get 3 hours of sleep, mate. Wow, you're gonna have a good night's sleep, I hope. Have a great sleep, man, Candy Shop owner. I'll see you in the next stream, hopefully. Was a pleasure to be with you. Awesome. How can it be plus 1.7? I fail to believe it. Okay, so bishop h2, rook e8. Wait, 33 g5, queen c6. Wait, this is I'm talking about this position. You are talking about before that. Yes, of course that was good. That was a not this one. I will stream tomorrow. Most likely, yes. Most likely, yes. See you tomorrow, Candy Shop owner. Awesome to be with you. One of the OGs. Yeah, obese project pat. The previous one of the, yeah, few moves ago it was two. Yes, not this one. Bishop h2, rook e8. This is now in black's favor. And now somehow black has managed to come under trouble. And Abasov has made a mistake. Bishop e5, best move. Very hard to find. The idea is to threaten knight g3, trapping the rook. No, no worries, obese project, Pat. No, no worries. No worries. But this position is, of course, now black is taking over. Somehow, magically, Nakamura manages to make his position bad. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. How can Nakamura misplay this? Like, it makes sense if I misplay it, but Nakamura? Come on. Mm, let me see what Fabiano's up to. Fabiano been Fabiano been acting sneaky. How many moves till at a time? For Fabiano's game, it is Fabiano needs to make 13 more moves, and the other guy Nakamura has to make 4 more moves. 4 more moves. 5 minutes to make. This could get really out of hand. This could get out of hand. He doesn't find bishop e5. He's in worse position. Only way to continue the game is bishop e5. Only way. So 4 moves for Nakamura, 13 for Firuz. Does find bishop e5. Okay, he's alive. He's alive. Guys, he's alive. Yeah, 13 and 11 is also crazy. Yeah, it is. It is. Or at least he's found the best move here. Queen e7 was a slight error by Naka. Not Naka, Abasov. Queen e7 was a slight error. He could have played bishop c7. And then bishop takes, queen takes. And you happen to be... I don't know what's so special about this one, but black is fine here. Queen e7, knight f4. No, well, it's illegal right now. Sorry, no knight f4. But queen e7, you actually hold this pawn, you attack this pawn. This pawn is not attacked. Rook even can be a thing. So this would have been fine for Abasov. He went for queen e7. And I think he missed bishop e5. If white doesn't play bishop e5, Abasov is actually winning. Forget about being better. If white does not play bishop e5, Abasov was winning. So, but Nakamura finds the only move, bishop e5. And now Abasov can... Well, there is only one good move for Abasov. Others are less good. He has to find h4 to play h3. But now engine says knight e3. h4 also stops knight g3. But then knight e3. Queen g5. Bishop takes g6. Queen takes g6 and queen takes a3. Weird position. I don't know what's going on there. Bishop e5 is the move. No, finally 93. That's still in the analysis variation. It hasn't been played over the board. Nakamura is not going to play it. I know Nakamura. He's given up on 93. Been waiting the whole time. Like I can finally sleep peacefully if Nakamura plays 93. No, there is hope. There is hope. Of course, no denying that. No denying that. It's just uh yes, but what does Abasov play? Will he take the pawn on c3 or no? Well, taking the pawn on c3, you lose g6 knight, no? Bishop takes c3, bishop takes g6, right? Am I missing something? You take on c3, I take on g6, and then I gain your bishop. Unless you have some trickery there. Why does engine suggest bishop takes c3? So engine's second line is c3, and then if I take, king takes, queen takes c3, engine says play with sacrificing the piece. Play like this. I think this is inhuman. Abasov is not going to go for this. This is inhuman. Pragyananda with it ended in a draw. Gukesh one ended in a draw. Fabiano one little bit edge for Fabiano because of the weak pawns on f5 and d6. Some edge for Fabiano. Practically speaking. Yeah, also still better for white there. So yeah, I don't expect to see the other move. Only question, only question is, will find h4 or not? Because white is playing knight g3 next move. That is the threat. This knight g3. Well, technically it's not too hard to find h4 because you are stopping something. So I can expect it. And I don't see what else can move. Black's rook cannot move. The bishop cannot move. So in one sense, h4 is like the only. In one sense. Yeah. So now I'm waiting. I think Abasov is capable of realizing that. Because you know why Abasov will realize this? He'll ask himself what is Nakamura threatening with bishop e5. So all top players, whenever you play a move, they ask themselves what is my opponent's threat. So after bishop e5, Abasov asked himself what is Nakamura's threat, and it is knight g3. So Abasov definitely realizes. What he doesn't realize probably is that there is no, I mean, he has to realize that there is h4. That's the only thing. So I'm waiting for h4. Finally, we just waiting for h4. I mean, I wanted more excitement today in the games. Doesn't seem like it's happening. Two boring draws. Two missed winning positions, or at least very dominant positions. Nakamura lost some of his advantage. Yeah, Vidit's game was a draw, as we predicted. Uh, Nakamura lost his advantage. Fabiano wasn't playing in his best shape. Abasov, I don't know what he's doing. Sometimes playing good moves, sometimes playing bad moves, but not the level I would expect in candidates in general. Like if you look at 2013 candidates, that was something. 2013 candidates was different. Or 2013 Vaikanze, which one am I referring to? One where we had Ivan Chuk as well. Ivan Chuk was there, Carlson was there, Grishuk was there, Rajabo was there, Gelfand was there. That tournament was something. This one, I mean, we are seeing good games in some rounds, but some rounds are so boring. But well, we commentate. That's the plan. That's the plan. Ooh, okay. Now, this might get interesting because players are getting into time trouble. What do you think is going to happen? What is the probability Nakamura wins this one? I genuinely expected that to be a decisive result. I was genuinely expecting one of them to fight. Guys, this is why we needed Hans in the tournament. This is why we wanted Hans. Because Hans would have fought out anything. Well, even Aronian is a very fighting player. Even Aronian. But Aronian is usually. I. No, wait. Yeah, Aronian is a fighting player with both sides. Yes. Yes, yes. Queen e6. Abasov doesn't stop knight g3. Oh, yeah, the allegations is a different story. Now, what happens after knight g3? What have I missed? Clearly, that rook doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So, uh, what am I missing? Like knight g3, the rook is trapped, right? Or am I just too tired to see something? Like, what happens after knight g3? Rook takes c2 has to be played. You have to give this up. You have to play h4. And then it's +2 for Nakamura. So he's winning. Oh, there is rook takes e5. That's the idea. Okay, he sacrifices the exchange. Nakamura's still a little bit better, but it's a practical try. It's a practical try. There is weakness on the c3 pawn. Okay, good practical try by Abasov. Still Nakamura's better, so I didn't take this very seriously. Didn't take this very seriously. There is also knight e3, not even knight g3, but there's also knight e3. Well, finally. Of course, knight e3 has been there on every move. That is a plausible theory. Maybe Gukesh does expect nerves to hit Nepo. You never know. Maybe he does. How do you know that Gukesh's nerves were not cracking against Nepo? How do you know that? Because Gukesh could have played some little bit with little bit of good risk, calculated risk, but he did not. He played it very safe today. Especially the bishop e7 move in the opening. He could have gone for bishop d6, which is more aggressive. So how do you know he's not trying to play it safe? Or let's say his nerves are not being affected. But your theory is plausible. It's a possibility. Keshav, mate, how are you awake at this time? Like, how are you not asleep? I mean, those statements sound good, but at the end of the day, everyone is trying to win, no? Like, if you're Gukesh, understand the psychology, you're leading with Nepo, you actually have you actually have hope to win the tournament. So finishing wherever, I don't know, it will still hurt if you don't win. Even for Prag, he's only trailing by half a point. Oh, okay, you are in the US. That's nice. Wow, it helps increase my geographic diversity of the stream. Not bad, not bad. Where in US? Where in US? Knight g3, knight e3, bishop takes c3, knight g3, e5. Yeah, no moves yet, no? Have me refresh. Okay, the sacrifice has taken place. Now, Nakamura's to play rook b5, attack the bishop, attack the pawn. Oh, Maryland. I know where Maryland is, yeah. Next to Washington. Nice. Nice, nice. Gukesh could be the youngest world champion, I guess, if everything goes well. Yeah, that would be awesome for India. But the amount of sponsorships and everything, the publicity he will get would be crazy in India, especially since the chess is booming. If he manages to become the world champion, he could probably retire like soon if he becomes the world champion. He'll get so many, perks, sponsorships, media, money, everything. I genuinely think if Gukesh wins this one, he's beating Dingliren. Genuinely think so. I mean, imagine the kind of resources Gukesh would be able to get. Probably Anand will help him. You never know. He might hire Fabiano as a second or something. Oh, all the Indian prodigies might help him. So he's got many more resources at his disposal than Dingliren. So yeah, the highest rated Indian isn't even playing. That's funny. Yeah, unfortunately, Arjun didn't qualify. It was unfortunate. But really, there are so many players you want to put in the candidates, but only so few spots. What to do? Like we discussed how many players we wanted to put. Rook b5 played. Oh, has he made 40 moves? Oh, he just made move 40. Okay, real winning chance for him now. Still didn't play knight e3, this guy. Still played knight g3. Fabiano seems to be getting an edge. Fabiano seems to be getting an edge. His edge is increasing. If Fabiano gets this win, I will take my words back. RIP 93, indeed. Indeed. Uh, Fabiano might not let me down after all. If he wins this one, uh, you know, I'll be very pleased. Fabiano would also be trailing by half a point if he wins this one. So Fabiano would still have some chances to win the thing. That would be pretty crazy. But only if he wins. How many moves is he away? Still away by 8 moves. As soon as he makes to move 40, and if he doesn't win beforehand, I'm ending the stream. I can't be there for that long. I've got other things to be done. Sleeping is one of them. I also have to have food. Haven't had anything for 4 hours. So, yeah. Like basically in 6 minutes, the stream is ending. Let's just wait for Fabiano to make it to move 40. Would be really pleasing to see him win. And now Alireza has to enter his bullet mode. Once Alireza enters his bullet mode, things could go interesting. Okay, an error right away. Error right away. Now I am too tired to calculate right now, so I'll just have to see what the best move is. Oh, not easy to find. You have to play rook d8 or bishop f1. Those are the best moves. Rook d8, you try to play rook g8, rook g5, get to the pawn this way, I think. If I make a move like a5, what happens? Rook g8, check indeed. Oh, this is actually close to mate. This is actually close to mate. And if you play king h7, then bishop c4 still. And the king is offside, rook e7 will probably lead to a disaster. Rook e7, rook h8, you probably lose this rook in some variation. I can see it, I can see it. Rook e7, king h6, rook h8. Bishop e2 traps the rook, by the way. But this also, I mean, minimum he has bishop f7. I thought he does, yeah. Check. And then he gains this. Minimum. But rook h5, will Fabiano find rook d8 under time pressure? That's a question. I mean, only one move for Fabiano to win. Rook d8, only one move. Else, the story goes on. Else, it's not entirely clear. But rook d8 is I mean, not easy to find, but Fabiano can do it. Let's play something. Hi, Spirit, how are you doing? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Bishop f1. No, he didn't play the best move, so the game is still on. We are just discussing the Fabiano's game. He had a great chance to play rook d8 and he would be plus 3, basically close to winning, but he plays bishop f1. And now it's still good for him, but it's less clear. Still less clear. 1 minute for Firoza. Yeah, every game is a disappointment today, isn't it? Every single game. The Fabiano has to make 6 more moves. Ali Reza also has to make 6 moves in 1 minute. Things will be crazy. Wait, he has made because the thing is not moving. Okay, so now it's 0.5. So we are back in territory. Bishop f1, rook d6, c d6, rook h8, best move, rook e6, mistake. Oh, Fabiano seems disappointed on the screen. He's missed something. He seems disappointed. He had to play bishop d3 here, which he didn't find. Take the pawn this way. Gives a check, king f7. Still bishop c4 keeps him alive actually. Still bishop c4 with some chances. Bishop c4, you can't take the pawn because rook e2 wins. So still there is some hope, not over. But they are still only away, 4 moves away. How many moves away? 5 moves away. Okay, this is getting serious. This is getting serious. Bishop c4 is a good move, at least a good try by Fabiano. 5 moves to be made in 40 seconds. Okay, crazy. Crazy. Ali Reza has to turn on the bullet mode now. It's time. No other option. He has to turn on the bullet mode. 28 seconds, 5 moves. Okay, another ray of hope. Some rook discovered check is good. Which one? Which one? Which one? King e1. He moves. He keeps the threat on. Okay, king e1. Amazing move. You just move out of any rook takes d6 possibilities. Making Alireza think, okay, Fabiano, I see you. I see you. I take my words back. You are still in there, holding on. King g7. Not too bad, Fabiano. King f2, making it to time control. a5, Firuza playing random moves. Now Fabiano has got some time to make the last few moves. What? The bar just shot up. a3, b5? What is going on here? a3 was the best move. b5 is the best move. Bishop a2, bishop d3 just wins. You take on f5, you win. I mean, okay, bishop d7, rook e5, close to winning. Yeah, Fabiano wins this one. Okay. Okay. One more move to make for Fabiano and he's done. You can play bishop b3, you can play bishop d3. Both are winning. Both are winning. Yeah, Fabiano. Yeah, okay. Okay. This works out for Fabi. He gains a healthy pawn and with time on the clock he wins. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. Alright everyone, thank you for watching the stream. Now I will be leaving. Nearly 4 hours of streaming. Crazy. Awesome. Have a good one. You too, mate. You too, mate. This will be a win for Fabiano. I like him now. He's still sure. He's still sure he's got it. All right, guys. See you later.